Howdy, yokes. Before we get started today, we just want to take a quick moment to thank our patrons, our new patrons, over at patreon.com/baconandeggs, supporting the show, helping us make this happen. I want to give a big thank you to Eric Hufnagel, Connor Chapa, Josephine Cabrera, and BZM100.
And I want to give a big thanks to Josh Richter, Baker Bell, Tessa Bodrin, Ilana Atwater, Violet James, Sam Borman, Foster Andrews, James Swindell, Michaela Taggart, Michelle Thomas, Ayaz Wolfie, and Matthew Summers.
Thank you guys so much for helping us make this our dream a reality. We really couldn't do this without you. Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill.
And we're taking a trip to the quantum realm.
Or maybe just a slide in Paul Rudd's backyard.
So bring your rolling suitcase office building.
And be sure to name your ants.
Because we've got a special guest today.
For Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. And our special guest today, we actually just named like a minute ago on our thank you to our patrons, but he's not here because of that. He's just here because he's one of our best friends ever. James Swindell, amazing in person, amazing human being. He's like 4'3". James, welcome to the show. Who are you? What do people need to know? How do they find you on social media?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I don't know where to start. Where should I begin? You said social media? That's the last thing you said.
At the beginning. Start at the beginning.
The beginning.
When and where were you born?
When and where was I born? Great. So I'm from Hampton Roads, particularly Chesapeake, Virginia. That's where I'm from. Yeah, that's the place.
Yeah.
What is the name of your first pet?
I'm sorry, what?
So he's trying to get your security
what is the name of your
your
first pet? What is your mother's maiden name?
Oh, okay.
Where did you go to elementary school?
I'm going to tell you none of those answers, and then we'll just move on from you trying to steal my identity.
But you do arts management, right?
Yeah. So I work at as a nonprofit arts professional in the DC area, and I currently serve on the Arlington Commission for the Arts. Recently appointed to a 3-year term. It's a volunteer position for the county, so it's going to be pretty cool. And also do some advocacy work in Arlington, Virginia as well, which is about 3.5 hours from where I'm from, Chesapeake, Virginia, and about 3 hours from where we all went to college together.
Yeah. James was the president of our fraternity when Ethan and I joined.
He is still listed in my phone as President James Swindell to this day.
That's
ridiculous.
I mean, I still have photos of you guys from undergrad as your backgrounds when you call me, so I can
yeah, you're
I
still
can relate.
You're still President James Swindell from when I put you in my BlackBerry.
Oh, BlackBerry.
And it allowed president as like a title option. Like Mr., Mrs., Doctor, Professor, Esquire, President. So I was like, it's President James Swindell, obviously.
My dad always used to say, "Call me Esquire," and I didn't realize until like several years later, of course, that meant you were a lawyer.
A lawyer, yeah.
So, but this year I addressed his card to his name and then comma Esquire to see if he actually got it, and I think he got a good laugh out of that.
Well, that's good.
That is good.
Fair enough.
But today we're talking Ant-Man and the Wasp. As we previously stated, just want to go over some quick statistics. This movie was released on July 6th, 2018 here in the States. From what I understand, it's still not out in some parts of the world.
Yeah, that's every movie.
Oh, well, I mean, like, not out for like another month and a half. Is that normal?
Yeah, Seamus went to the premiere of
Coco.
No,
The Incredibles.
Incredibles yesterday.
Yeah, but it doesn't premiere there until September. Like, that was the, press premiere.
But it definitely hasn't hit China, right?
Incredibles just won highest grossing animated film of all time. So it's probably hit China.
Okay.
Well, this is not the highest grossing film of all time.
No.
But it's definitely not out in all places. It maybe most places.
Ant-Man and the Wasp released on a $162 million budget 4 days ago. It hit that back on opening weekend. So.
And the reason I say it's out almost everywhere is because over half of that is international.
Oh, that's the worldwide?
That's the worldwide.
Okay.
Over half of that is I think it hit maybe 75 million domestic opening, which is not that good.
No, it's not. But that's okay. It'll bounce.
I just want to make that point very, very clear, abundantly clear, right when we're starting. This is not a very stellar opening for this movie in the States. I just want to make that clear.
Why do you want to make that clear?
Just to further my points later on down the road, I want to state that as a fact now. That people aren't seeing this movie the way they did other movies.
So this is a spoiler review, just so you're aware.
It's not a spoiler review.
Okay, not at this point. We're not doing spoilers just yet.
Yeah, so
that is not a spoiler.
The weekend gross was 75
in the States,
million. Yeah.
In the States.
It got an 86 critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, 79 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 70 on Metacritic, which is pretty high praise. It premiered on Rotten Tomatoes at like a 90-something, but it's dropped down to an 86. I don't know
So-
that I would say it's necessarily worthy of that high.
Well, 86 means a lot of people liked it. A lot of critics liked it. But, you guys, you know who didn't like this movie?
Who didn't like this movie, Ethan?
Richard Brodie did not like this movie.
Richard Brodie!
I'm not
the man
surprised.
who
From the New
hates
Yorker.
sequels.
Yeah,
From
man
the New
who-
Yorker.
Literally, I sat down to get my reviews for this movie because I'm like, hey, I do the negative review. Oh, it's a sequel. You know who hates sequels? Richard Brodie.
The thing, he doesn't like anything, though. That's the thing.
No, he doesn't like anything, but he weighs in on every, he's weighed in on every, blockbuster sequel so far.
Yeah,
that we've
and
reviewed.
I remember getting ready for this moment and just looking down the reviews and texting both of you and saying, "Hey, isn't Richard Brodie the guy that hates all movies?" And you said yes. So I felt
He
like
does.
if I learned one thing from Bacon and Eggs, is that one, Richard Brodie exists, and two, he hates all movies.
Richard Brodie,
He hates.
if you're listening, please come on the show.
He probably
We just
want
wanna
to
talk.
Yogurt.
We just want to talk.
Man, I like
I just
frozen
have
yogurt, and I haven't
questions.
had it in a long time, guys. You can't do this to me. right
Frozen
now.
yogurt is great.
It's so good. I haven't had Sweet Frog in a minute, so you guys need to calm down on the froyo references.
Bacon and
Do you have
Eggs
a-
this week is brought to you by frozen yogurt, everyone's favorite summertime treat.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Ethan, do you have Dick Brodie's review?
I do
Did you
have
read
Dick
it?
Brodie's review.
Okay.
He says the
waiting
earlier.
on you,
Sorry,
bud.
I couldn't read for a second. He says the earlier film's freewheeling, low-key loopiness is replaced by a dull and dutiful plot that, with its forced references to other Marvel installments, squeezes the action to fit the franchise.
That's Richard Brodie, the New Yorker. Not very high praise. Not very high praise at all.
But again, he hates everything.
He hates it because it's a sequel. That's what's so funny.
Right, that's why I love his reviews so much, because every review is like, this would be way better if they didn't make it as a sequel.
Right.
Do we know how long
This
he's
wasn't-
been? Do we know how long he's been reviewing
Forever.
films?
Yeah, forever. Yeah.
So have you looked up his Empire Strikes Back review?
Oh, I don't know if he's got that one.
Oh, if he does, then you just have
He's
to
70. So he graduated from college in 1980.
see. Oh, he had
But
to have seen it.
no, he's written for the New Yorker since 1999.
Oh, okay, then never mind. He probably still hated
Yeah,
it.
but that's still forever.
1999? I mean, I remember
Yeah.
1999, but I wasn't reviewing films in
party?
99. Partied like it was 1999. No, I partied like it was the 99 and the 2000. That's how I partied.
Did you party? I've always wanted to go to one of those. Have you heard about these theme parties where it's like party like it's 1999, but instead of like 90s decor, it's all like infomercials.
Oh, that's awful.
Isn't that so good?
That just sounds awful.
Like as seen on TV items.
Billy Mays here with a great idea.
OxyClean.
Oh my god.
You know which one I used to watch every night was the Flex Seal. Flex Seal.
Oh,
And now
Flex
I work
Seal.
in that industry.
Flex
Flex Seal's
Seal.
the real deal.
It is the greatest advertisement, and I know it is for a product that actually works, because the other day, the drying crew that was working in my office was like, yeah, we're just going to Flex Seal this up. And I was like, wait, hold on a second. Tell me everything about Flex Seal. And he goes, honestly, Flex Seal's been one of the greatest inventions for my job. I'm not really sure I could do it anymore without Flex Seal, or it would sure as heck take me a longer time. And I was like,
Well, the truth is,
so it works? And he goes, brother, let me tell you everything about that boat. That screen door in it is 100% true. I was like, I was freaking out. I was like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in my whole life. Is I've got a living testament for Flex Seal being used in the bottom of a boat. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Flex Seal is these great commercials where it's like 5 minutes of a guy just yelling about how great Flex Seal is, and then he goes, just to prove how great it was, we took a boat and put a screen door in the bottom, and then we sealed it up with Flex Seal. And it's just a video of him driving this boat on a lake that is just, it has a screen door in the bottom.
it's like made of a
For those of
door,
you,
isn't
yeah,
it?
it's all for those of you in England and places that for some reason don't have screens. I'm guessing because you don't have bugs. But places that don't have screens, it's like a little wire mesh that we put in place of doors.
Very permeable though. Rain can get through.
Rain can get through, bugs cannot.
Yeah.
Therefore, it also air can get through. So
And
for
it's a caulking item.
they
is
are
Flex
entirely
Seals.
made. Screen doors are entirely made for the purpose of like late April. That's the only time of the year it's nice to use a screen door.
What's that quote? Like April 25th?
That's the Mean Girls quote.
It's not
No,
Mean
that's
Girls.
not
It's
from Mean Girls.
Miscongeniality.
It was like Miscongeniality.
Wait, was it
April
that?
25th. All you need is a light
Yeah,
jacket.
it's because she's in the Miss
Miscongeniality, 2000.
Miscongeniality or Miss Universe, whatever whatever it is, Miss United States pageant.
She's Miss Rhode Island, but yeah.
Yeah, well, no, she's in the pageant for Miss United States. She's beauty and she's
Right.
grace. She's queen of 50 states. I actually love this movie. Fun fact.
Do you?
I do. Miss Congeniality is hilarious.
Yo,
It is hilarious.
Benjamin
the,
Bratt.
It does have Benjamin Bratt, which is very unfortunate.
She does the wine glass thing, right? The crystal wine glass thing. That's her talent.
That's Sandra Bullock's talent, yeah.
It's been way too long since I've seen that movie, and I cannot believe you guys remember all of the details about it.
I remember those two details of that. I couldn't tell you any. I couldn't tell you her name. I don't even know what it's about, honestly. I just know that there's a pageant and she does the woo thing.
All right, guys. We've got a Marvel movie to talk about.
We do
and
have
so this is a sad moment. It's going to be our last Marvel movie that we're going to talk about until like
Captain
March of
Marvel.
next year. So there's a good long while, which to me says you probably could have waited a couple months to put this thing out, this Ant-Man and the Wasp thing, because Infinity War is still in theaters.
Infinity War was awesome. I
It's
bet Black Panther's
still in theaters. Like I left the theater again. This is the second time this happened with a Marvel movie. I left the theater I was seeing it in, and the theater next door is playing the previous Marvel movie.
I want
Here's
to
the
see it again. I want to see it a million more times. I miss
This or
Infinity
Infinity
War.
War?
Or
No, Infinity War. I saw it 3 times in the theater, which was enough, but just that opening scene where they show Thanos for the first time just makes me just really
It's so
scared.
crazy that the opening scene is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because the real part of that movie people often talk about is the last minute.
Oh,
Anyway.
I mean, the whole movie's great, but I mean, I'm just saying that that moment where, he finally starts repeating the words that are on the commercial, unlike this movie that didn't have the central joke from the commercials.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
I know.
Uh,
Okay, first of all, I know that if I let you continue down this road, James, that this is going to become a whole second episode about Infinity War. Therefore, I'm going to stop this right now, and you are only permitted at one other time during this recording to talk about Infinity War.
I'll save it for rant.
Yes, thank you. Now, we're going to get us a spoiler-free review of Ant-Man. We're going to talk just a little bit, about what we thought about the movie without telling you the whole nitty-gritty details of the plot. Guys, how did you see this movie? Tell me about your experience seeing this movie.
I saw it in a theater at a Regal with my wife in a pretty crowded theater, opening weekend, but not opening day, 9 p.m. It was good. I enjoyed it. I like crowds at movie theaters. Otherwise, I hate crowds.
So you saw the Thursday night preview?
Yeah, Thursday preview.
Okay, yeah, at a Regal. I also saw it at a Regal.
Yeah, I've been going to Regal, but I've just heard, I don't want to say too much in case we end up working with them, but I just heard that there's another theater that offers a really cool program.
There's another theater that I normally hate, but is vying for my affection.
Right, and is very much winning.
So I also saw this movie at a Regal. I did something that could be considered insanity. Okay. 2 weeks ago, I may have told you guys about this. 2 weeks ago, I tried to see Jurassic World, right? Mm-hmm. And I got to this movie theater. It was a Regal inside a mall. Okay, not something I normally do. I've never been to this theater before, even though I've been to this mall a dozen times. But I went to this theater in this mall, and Jurassic World stopped playing after like 10 minutes, and I was not able to see the movie, and they would not give me a refund because of Movie Pass, and the whole situation kind of bittered me. Regal ended up fixing it. They don't know they fixed it. Literally, like, the manager on shift at a different Regal that I went to just let me in for free. He was like, hey, you got time to see it right now? Because I'm just going to walk you back and not say anything to anybody. So Regal doesn't know about that. I'm not going to say which Regal it is or who was, obviously, because I'm sure that person would lose their job.
Looking at you, Derek, at Regal in Yorktown.
But so I went to see the Regal. I went to see it at the Regal. And then 2 weeks later, here I am at this same Regal doing the same thing, seeing another movie on opening day. Though this time it worked, but there was a certain problem.
Was there a $3 surcharge?
There was not. I did not. That didn't come into effect until Saturday.
Okay.
In our area. I don't know if I've told you guys this or not, but I'm really over seeing the trailer for Mission Impossible 6 Fallout.
Oh, God.
I've heard.
So I sit down to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp. And of course,
They took away the cool song, too.
they're going to show... No. We don't have a new trailer out here in Hampton Roads. It's the
we
same trailer with, you get down with the fiction.
That's
you
such
both
a
know
sweet
you
song,
need
though.
it. and the weird scene of Matt Bomer like cocking his fists before he punches Tom Cruise in the face, as if you have to like ready your arms.
Who'd you say that was?
Matt Bomer. No,
that's
Henry Cavill.
Kal-El.
Yeah, Henry Cavill. I mix them up, man. They look the same.
I just hope my only thing with that movie is that mustache. It's got to like read minds, right? It's got to be like.
Anyway, so
it's got to make him a wizard. I'm
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm just impressed that he actually jumped out of a plane a trillion times to shoot that film, but I'll never go see it because that's the only part that's interesting.
I sit down, and the first thing I see is that this film has been rated for whatever motion picture audiences, the green screen, and then I just hear, "Your mission, should you just accept it?" And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, here we go. Okay, so I watched the whole freaking 5-minute long trailer that cleverly combines Friction by Imagine Dragons with the Mission Impossible theme, such bam, 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 bam thing. That trailer ends, the green screen comes up again, and I hear, "Your mission, should you choose to accept it?" And I was like, are we really about to do this for a second time? This is torture. So that one finishes, and the green screen comes up again, and I hear, "Your mission, should you choose to accept it?" Literally a third time in a row. And this is what made it worth telling the story, is because at some point in that trailer, the big black guy in the movie, whose name I don't know off the top of my head because I haven't seen
Ving Rhames
recently. Yeah, that guy says this thing where he's like, "Oh, you know, same old Ethan." And a guy in the theater literally stands up and goes, "Yeah, it's the same old Ethan. We just saw this trailer 3 times." To like a full theater of a Marvel audience, which is definitely a mixed audience. But I had to sit through that trailer 3 times in a row, and it's not a short trailer.
I just can't believe I had to sit through another Transformers trailer.
That's my Injustice America, is that Mission Impossible trailer brought in.
People have been demanding we watch Mission Impossible for this podcast. Are you not ready to do that?
If somebody holds a gun to my head and says, "Watch Mission Impossible 3, I'd be like, "Nah, just kill me, fam."
Mission Impossible 3 came out in
Not
like
3,
2002.
Mission Impossible 6. Mission Impossible Fallout. Your mission, should you choose to accept it? I wonder if you ever chose not to.
Here's the thing, is Ant-Man and the Wasp, I have a positive review, and then we're going to get our binary reviews, and then we're going to do some spoiler reviews.
Oh, you never did your positive review.
Yeah, so I've got
bad.
this one. This is from Jonathan Fisher over at Slate. He's a top critic on RottenTomatoes.com. Give it a positive review. I don't have any sort of rating, but he says, "Ant-Man and the Wasp is an eager puppy of a $100 million superhero tentpole, and it knows precisely where on your face to lick you." And I just love that imagery. But I think a lot of people are saying that. I don't think the movie is that. Now, let's get into our binary reviews. Now, James, are you familiar with this segment?
I'm familiar with this segment, but I'm gonna rewind this segment here, and we're gonna go back to how I saw the film because.
Okay.
I apologize, Tyler. I thought you had done your positive review, so I was not trying to cut you off with all that. But
Positive Hardcore Thursdays.
Now, so wait, are y'all like Liam Neeson, like good cop, bad cop? Is that what y'all did did there? Did I just get
what?
Did I just get good cop, bad cop? Like,
what are you talking about?
You did the
All
bad
I know
review?
is Lego Movie was so much fun.
I do the bad review every week. We've done this for like, I don't know, 15 weeks now. I can't even remember a time we didn't do this. I think we started with Star Wars.
But I remember when we did it, somebody was like, "That's a really cool thing that you just did." And now we do it because they said it.
You need to throw people off one week and just you switch them. Just totally throw people off and see how people feel about it.
Here's the thing, James, is people may know this. I don't know what we say on this podcast, so we could be switching it every week, and I would have
We're
no
not.
idea.
I've done the negative review every time except I think one, where you were like, "I want to do the negative review," and I was like, "Okay, fine."
All right.
It was like that time I did the intro, and Tyler freaked out.
I did. Every time now, I'm really quick to it.
I noticed because I was gonna do it tonight.
I didn't even have it pulled up. I was like, "What's my first line?"
So I saw
James,
I
how'd you
this
see
film at an AMC after brunch, which is
giving money to big movie theaters.
Is it the AMC Hoffman Town Center?
No, it was not, and it was not the same movie theater that made me wait 3 hours to watch Star Wars. It was AMC actually in Arlington over in Courthouse, and we had walked over from brunch, which is a bad idea, and I'll tell you why in a second. But it was actually in one of their bigger theaters. They all have the reclining seats with the cool cup holders and the buttons that like program like you going up and down and back and forth. And it was actually in their bigger one with a better sound system. And so some of their smaller theaters don't have the right sound system for those films, but this one was great. So we were sitting like fourth to the screen, which was like just big enough, and it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
This is my complaint about Regal. Dear Regal, if for whatever reason you're listening to this lowly movie review podcast, please, dear God, update your theaters. Every single Regal theater I've been to in the past 10 years looks like it was made earlier than the past 10 years ago. We have reclining chairs now, or at least chairs that move a little bit. Also, stop using like film projectors.
My Regal doesn't.
Your Regal is terrible. All Regals are terrible.
Regal down the street is like, it looks like it's straight out of the 1990s. It's crazy.
That's wild.
It's nuts.
All right, binary reviews. Now, this one is one I actually think is going to be interesting. I don't know that we're all going to give the same review on this one. Now, for those unfamiliar, a binary system has off and on. So 0 is off, 1 is on, 0 is no, 1 is yes. It's very simple. It's just a binary. Would you see it? Would you not? I want to hear James's first.
Okay.
Binary review.
I give this a 1. I would see it again. I probably wouldn't see it again in the theaters, but I would watch it again, Redbox, on demand, bootleg, however you want to deliver it to my television. I will watch it.
Okay. Now, Ethan, I don't want to hear yours yet, but I've been going back and forth on this since I left the theater. And I think I've come to the conclusion that, yes, I would watch it again.
Team 1 right here.
Team 1. Because I've gone back and forth a lot, but like if it comes in like a collector's edition with a bunch of other films, I'll watch it again and I will enjoy it. And hopefully I'll be like, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it again, but I think because of that, when I do revisit it, I'm going to see the jokes and have forgotten them and laugh at them. That's what I think is going to happen. Ethan, I want to know your binary review. I'm really scared.
I'm so scared.
It's a 0.
Oh, no! Come on.
It's a 0. It's a 0. I'm sorry. This movie, to me, possibly came at the worst time for it to have ever been put out.
I just like
Which
couldn't
is
disagree more.
On the heels of not only Infinity War, but also on the heels, and I keep bringing this up, but on the heels of Jurassic World 2, a sequel that absolutely should have not been made under any circumstances.
See, now this is where we also disagree.
Has just
Jurassic World 2
ruined
a lot.
sequels for me. Between Deadpool 2, Jurassic World, and this, the sequel is dead. Kill it.
All right.
Kill it with fire.
All right,
Okay.
Dick Brodie.
Leave it alone.
Yeah,
I'm turning into Richard Brodie here. I don't want to ever see another sequel for a movie ever again.
I don't know. I mean, I think
we go
that's a
straight
pretty...
to the third one now. Clearly, Thor Ragnarok was good.
Yeah, but Thor Ragnarok compared to the other two was like out of their league, right? So like, but I think you're unique in this, that you're the only one of the three of us that
the possible exception of Winter Soldier, because I know a lot of people like Winter Soldier. There has not been a Marvel sequel that anywhere holds up to the hype of the first one.
I can agree with that, but I'm also the type where like I have to manage my expectations. So I didn't go into this film thinking that it was going to be Infinity War or that it was going to be Black Panther. And in fact, I was totally glad that it wasn't either of those films, because if I was to see yet another extremely consequential film, like, you know, saving half the universe or the whole galaxy or however many people, you know, Thanos, you know, took out, then I probably would have been exhausted. But this came at the right moment, knowing that at the, you know, it's gonna catch up to where we were in the other movie.
I just don't get the mentality of it owes nothing to being as good as the first one or the last one. I think it
definitely needs... No, I think the expectation with its comparison to Ant-Man is fair. It needs to be as good as Ant-Man.
And it was not. It didn't even try to be as good as Ant-Man.
But it was closer to Ant-Man than Iron Man 2 was to Iron Man.
Right, and I'm not going to sit here and defend Iron Man 2. Like, I'm not trying to. We ripped that movie apart.
And I think that was my first question. My first question for you guys and for this podcast was this better than number one? And my answer is certainly no. It was not better, but it was certainly close, if not right on par with the first Ant-Man.
Okay.
So the three of us, actually, I'm curious about this score. The three of us, James, you sent it to us, did a survey to determine our individual Marvel movie rankings. Now, I don't care about your whole list. I think we all ended up with Infinity War.
Do I need to
one or two?
Do I need to pull this up?
And yeah,
I
just want to know where Ant-Man fell for you.
So wait, Ant-Man for me?
Yeah. So there's
Ant-Man was number 12 of 19.
12 of 19. What did it beat?
It beat Thor, Doctor Strange, Dark World.
Just the one right below it.
Oh, it beat Thor.
Okay, and it lost to Doctor Strange.
No. It lost to Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Wow, you really ranked Guardians low.
Yeah, but we have to explain. So the way that this quiz worked was that it gave you two options. What would you rather watch right now? And so I think for me, I didn't go into it like, oh, I really want to watch Ant-Man because I just watched Age of Ultron. I viewed this as I'm going to rank the best one between Infinity War and Black Panther, and then it continues to do that until you've exhausted all the options and it gives you the results.
Which one would you rather watch right
quiz.
now?
We'll put it in the description, and be sure to tweet out us your results, #HowdyYokes, or at Baconandeggs23, one or the other. I don't know. Ethan will tell you the instructions next
Yeah.
time.
Well, and this is crazy because my number one was Infinity War, but Shannon's was Ant-Man because she really wanted to watch the first Ant-Man. So she was clearly looking at it at a different way than what I think you and me and Ethan, like, we were.
I was looking at it like, somebody holds a gun to my head and says, pick one of these two movies to watch right now.
Yeah.
And that's how I looked at it. And that's how I actually ended up with Infinity War at number 4, instead of as high as you guys put it, is because, like, I've stated this before, is like, I love the movie dearly. It's a really, really, really good movie. I don't really have any desire to watch it again.
So, where did you land Ant-Man?
I landed at 13, underneath Doctor Strange and right above Thor.
Okay, so you guys both have much lower expectations going in if you're looking for it to match than I did.
Right.
Which I think is interesting, because I have Ant-Man at 6, losing to Guardians of the Galaxy and beating Black Panther.
Now, and I will say, throughout the history of this podcast, I have been very harsh on Ant-Man. Is it the most amazing Marvel movie ever made? No, but it's by no means bad. It's like my definition for a kind of middle of the pack type of movie, okay? Mm-hmm. So to me, that indicated that there was a lot of room to go up.
And you didn't feel like this movie went up.
I didn't feel like this one lived up even to the expectation of the first one, let alone what I expected it to do, which was be better than the first one.
See,
I didn't expect it to be better than the first one.
Yeah, I think.
But this is what I'm saying though, is that I've received this about Deadpool, I've received this about Jurassic World, and I've now received this about this movie. It's people being like, I don't understand why you'd expect it to be better than the first one. Yes, I loved the first one, but like, why would it be as good? I was expecting a middle of the road movie, and I got one. Why would any movie ever try to be a middle of the road movie? Why are you not trying as hard as you possibly can with the characters? The characters are there. You did not deliver. That is how I feel about this movie.
I think there's a certain level of development with the characters that comes in with the second part that you can occasionally beat, which, like we pointed out with Winter Soldier, which I will agree, like, of the Marvel second parts, even though it's not my favorite Marvel movie, is probably the strongest one. Like, it's the best one.
It's between that and Age of Ultron for me.
Oh, Age of Ultron, obviously, but that's another great exception.
But it's hard to even call a sequel, honestly, because the Avengers movies are tough. Like,
I'd call those a saga.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I feel for me, if we're gonna rank like Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron aged really well. Like,
I agree. Yeah. I think so too.
Especially after
Sorry, go ahead.
I know. I was just going to say, like, especially after Infinity War, I just felt like there was a lot that, to use one of Ultron's references, that it was just, like, tangled in strings, and it felt really connected in a very good way, in a way that wasn't present when we first saw it, because the Infinity Stones had not been kind of developed. And so since it was more developed, I felt like Age of Ultron did well. The thing that makes me even happier about this film is that we didn't have to deal with the Infinity Stones. We had just gone through all of that.
I will agree with that.
That is definitely one thing I liked about this movie, and it's one thing that I liked about the original Ant-Man too, is they both came right on the heels of a big, bad, full-fat Avengers movie, a big, exhausting cinematic experience. And I want to make myself perfectly clear, I was not expecting this to be on the same scale as Infinity War, okay? I did not expect it to have as high of a ceiling as Infinity War, but I thought to its ceiling, I expected it to be better, I guess is what I'm trying to get across. Is like, I never expected it to be this epic adventure of proportions to that style. I expected it to excel at what it was supposed to do, and I just don't think it did. It is supposed to be the comic relief movie of the series. That's what it was in the first one, and I just didn't get that in the second one. I agree with Richard Brodie, which hurts me to say. It's like a lot of the whimsy from the first movie was just gone.
Oh, I disagree. I laughed a lot. I'll say this. I want to talk a bit. We've talked a lot about Jurassic World Part 2 and Deadpool 2 in this. And here's the point I want to present to you, Ethan, is that when it comes to these type, I don't want to say mediocre movies, but these type movies, they present you with a good enough movie that you can reasonably walk out of it and say, I really liked that, or I really didn't. Like, there are legitimately bad movies, like poorly constructed films that like have confusing characters and are just not good, like Transformers 3
or Pirates 3.
So yeah, whoa.
No. Sorry. Time out. Sorry. Wait. Wrong. Pirates 4. Sorry.
Okay. Right.
James, I was about to fight you through this.
No, sorry. Wrong one. Pirates 4 was just the worst film I've ever seen.
I haven't even seen that one. Okay, yeah, so let me qualify this review, and I think we've made this clear throughout all of Marvel. It's like, all of these are good movies. The Incredible Hulk is a better movie than most movies.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, let's make that very clear. Is like we are talking about this within the realm of other Marvel movies. We have yet to review on this podcast a truly bad movie.
And,
Maybe
like,
maybe The Phantom Menace is probably the closest it comes to like unwatchable, just because of the complete lack of a coherent story.
I want to just make the point that, like, we're also pretty biased. We are, like, big Marvel Cinematic Universe fans.
Right. There are a lot of
Yeah.
people sitting here going, yeah, that was funny. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, 2 points that you made. First off, like I think I agree with you. We are all really invested in the MCU. I mean, and that's one thing that I personally, I didn't grow up reading comic books as much as the next person, but when I started to understand just what Marvel was trying to achieve with the series, I think that is when I really bought into each of these films being something unique and had something to offer that was different than the next. And so I really agree with what Ethan said, is that, and it became really apparent to me when I did this quiz that, it's hard to say that any of these are bad, minus probably Iron Man 3. I really didn't like the film. But that being said, you're ranking 19 films that are just good, and they're good for different reasons, and
Right.
you have certain preferences on which one goes where. But like, it really became apparent to me that it was really hard to rank movies that were all pretty good, and some of them are really great. My top 5 I feel like are just great films, especially for a superhero film. We're in the 21st century where people feel exhausted from them, but the top 5 for me are just gold.
Well, I'm curious, James. And that's why I liked where Ant-Man ended up for me was literally right outside the top 5. To me, that felt like poetic. So I'm going to guess. I know you've shown me, but I've forgotten, of course. What your top 5 are? I'm going to guess Infinity War, Ragnarok, Black Panther, Spider-Man, and Winter Soldier.
Oh, close. Civil War. So in order,
Civil War.
in order, it was Infinity War, Civil War, Homecoming, Black Panther, Ragnarok.
Okay, God, that's a tough list.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all good, though.
Mine,
like,
yeah, okay, so mine are the Ragnarok, Homecoming, Civil War, Infinity War, Guardians.
Wow.
And honestly,
okay.
I think Civil War is a little bit high there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Civil War came so high for you. I liked Civil War. I don't know why I don't qualify it as high as other things. It came in at 8 for me. I have Infinity War, Ragnarok, Homecoming, Iron Man, and Guardians.
Civil War is a weirdly forgettable movie for some reason. I felt this way about
For what it is.
I felt this
'Cause
way
it
about
doesn't have
both
the Avengers
of
title.
felt this way about both the Captain America sequels. Is that I've gone back and watched them the second time and gone, what happens in this movie? And then I watched through it and I'm like, oh yeah, that happens, and then it's gone again.
Because they have terrible third acts,
Yeah.
Ethan.
So
The third act is like, oh my god, now there's, in Winter Soldier, it's like, oh my god, look at all these helicarriers destroying each other right over DC. Which is stupid. Stupid ending.
I mean, everybody has that Marvel movie that they just. I feel like everybody has that Marvel movie they just hate that everybody else like loves. Like a lot of people hate Guardians, a lot of people hate Iron Man. I do not like the Winter Soldier at all. Like to have it as high up in the list as we have it physically hurts me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you guys have Guardians really high. I have it at number 11, and that comes after a really difficult top 10 for me.
Oh, dude, trust me, I feel you. I came into the Guardians review just wanting to hate it, wanting to be wrong, wanting to like shove it on Ty, being like, "Oh man, Guardians is the best movie that's ever come out in all of human history."
Guardians was awesome. Okay.
And then I watched Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, "This is a really good movie."
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Groot.
Oh
I-
man, and that's the thing is they're all so good.
I can't disagree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you, but my top 10 it really tells you a lot about how I prioritize these films. So I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that it didn't hit top 10 out of 20 movies. So
How do you feel about Pixar?
who, me?
Yeah.
I feel like I've missed a couple of movies in Pixar, but like
Interesting.
the last Pixar film I saw was Coco, and I was hyped about Coco when I saw the very first trailer. When they were talking about the beauty and power of music in their own way, and my mind was blown. And then
Coco was really cool.
You added in the specific layer. They always give you that first trailer where they kind of show you kind of in broad strokes, and then they started really defining what it was in that next trailer, talking a lot about the Day of the Dead and specifically what the plot was about, and I was sold. I was sold from day one. You couldn't get me off of the Coco ledge until the movie came out, and I made Shannon go see that film at like 9:30, 10 o'clock on Thanksgiving night. Like, she's tired, she doesn't want to see anything. I was like, no, we have to see this film, and it didn't disappoint. It was beautiful.
I'm so glad you said
It
that.
was
I really
awesome.
thought you were going to
No,
end that with it disappointed.
It was awesome. Like, literally, I have so many things to say, but we are talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, you said out of 20 movies, and I was just like, let's rate another 20 movies.
Yeah. Let's rehash the rest of the MCU in 30-minute sound bites with you, James, and release them as Sunday brunch episodes.
We can always do that. I just to quick on Coco. It is like quickly risen in my stock as my favorite. I saw it and I loved it, and I was like, I don't know if it's my favorite though. And then I rewatched it when it came out, and I was like, this is just as beautiful at home as it is at the theater, which is an important note to like pay attention to, because most movies, if you watch Iron Man 3 at home, you're going to be so disappointed, even in just the way that it looks. Like, and that's a Marvel movie with like $100+ million budget. It should look good. But Coco looks amazing always. And then the story wows every time I watch it. It's so good. And I love Coco. But Ant-Man and the Wasp, I want to talk about the movie itself, right? So it hits all the right buttons to be an objectively speaking film that Ethan did not like and James and I appear to have liked. I want to talk about my complaints with the movie, and then I want to talk about the things that I liked about it, and I want you guys to do the same. And that's we're going to do a little bit of structure this week. Are we in Spoilerville? I don't necessarily need to go to spoilers yet, but we can do that if you feel necessary. But I think some of my complaints with the one complaint I have in mind with the general script is not spoilerific.
Okay, well, get your part done, and then we'll see if we need to move into spoilers.
Okay, so this movie does something that is like so frustratingly bad. And I was so mad about it the whole time. It talks about the quantum realm, and the science in the movie doesn't work, right? Because if the science in the movie worked, then when the building shrank, it would still weigh as much as a full-size building. That's how the Ant-Man science works. That's why he's so strong, is because he's still 180 pounds.
Michael Scott says thank you, .gif.
Right. So the building, you can't just roll the building. It's like a gazillion tons. Okay, so establishing that the science doesn't work, the quantum talk never ceases. And it doesn't mean anything, right? It's just like jibber jabber exposition for whatever it wants to be. The quantum realm can do anything.
Hold on, can I interject really quick into your thing?
Yeah.
So this is a complaint for you?
Yeah.
Oh, I think this was the best thing, one of the best things the movie did, honestly.
No, because all of Evangeline Lilly's and Michael Douglas's dialogue, what could have been just amazing and brilliant dialogue by two amazing actors that I love, was just like, but if we don't get the what do they call it? The component to the quantum realm, then we'll never be able to retrieve the...
Right.
Shut up!
But it has a really good payoff moment.
What do you mean?
Well, it's a spoiler, so I can't say it.
Yeah. We won't get the spoiler.
Well, I mean...
I will say, the big spoiler, not the end spoiler, but the actual cinematic adventure third act spoiler, the reveal in the movie, I thought was really, really... But
I think to your I'll present the opposite argument with you, is that, the quantum talk, while it doesn't mean much to us or Paul Rudd's character with Ant-Man or Scott Lang, don't you think that that's generally how Scott feels the entire film? He even, mentioned something like, do you just add... Does he
just add quantum?
That's what I was going to say, though. That's the payoff moment. That's the payoff moment. When Scott looks around and just goes, do you guys just add quantum at the beginning of every sentence? And he's just so frustrated and that's actually the thing I really liked about this movie, is that it gave us that shot from Scott's perspective. And it's like you hear kind of what he hears the whole time. It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. They're just talking gibberish, talking out of their butts, and he doesn't get it. He feels like they're talking down to him, like he doesn't understand it.
I mean, it's got the same plot problem as Mission Impossible Fallout, where it's like, which isn't even a movie yet. It's not out. But where it's like, if we don't get the component to such and such place, then the world will explode. It's just like, okay, action movie.
Yeah, but I mean, I think to the point I was trying to make is that, it's so mysterious to him, and there's a great payoff comedically, but there's also a great payoff later in the film where... we can talk about it later, but I think not knowing about the quantum realm as much as Michael Douglas's characters or Evangeline Lilly will come into play later for Scotland.
That's a spoiler problem.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you really liked about this movie that you saw and you were like, wow, I'm really glad they did that? I hear what you're saying, and you may have... I like that they were able to... You may have changed my mind just a little bit. I like that they were able to present a third-person limited perspective in a film, which is pretty hard to do, as typically you sort of need like an omniscient point of view.
Yeah,
I
actually really liked that, and that is like one of the shining moments in the film for me. And yeah, is it a little over the top? It kind of drags out a longer than it needs to. But no, I enjoyed that third person limited perspective just because it's not something, especially in this type of movie, that you get a lot, especially in the type of movie with a villain where you can you get a shot of what the villain's doing behind the scenes. It's like
you did get that.
Well, you get that in every Marvel movie. It's like you know what Red Skull's doing the whole time in Captain America: The First Avenger, and you're sitting there like, Steve, stop.
Well, but there was still a turn with Bucky in there.
There's always a turn. I mean, they're good enough filmmakers in all of these movies to write a twist.
Right.
It's like
I was originally going to ask this as a question, and I'm going to answer it. So my question was going to be, was this too much of a good thing? So did it rely too much on the devices of Ant-Man 1? And I think it did rely on those things. But at the same time, I felt like some of the things that they had really played on really well in Ant-Man 1 were referenced once, maybe twice in this film. And it stayed away from referencing too much to the first film. Because if it didn't do that, then we would just be stuck with Ant-Man 1 again. We would just be replaying Ant-Man 1 in a new movie. And I think for a lot of people, they even felt that referencing the first film was too much. Like they should have stayed away from it. And I actually thought
there was a huge problem with having a supporting character. You know, it had the Edna Mode problem from Incredibles, where it was like, you've got this amazing supporting character with Luis, and you need him to do the thing again, right? He's got to do the storytelling thing again. But how do you not overdo it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was
because,
perfect.
I really thought they underdid it.
I would rather they underdo it than
I think
overdo
Edna
it.
Mode in Incredibles 2 made a better return than Luis did in
I would agree with that.
Ant-Man 2, but I don't think it was bad. Like, I'm trying to think of an example where it didn't work, and I know it's there, but it's escaped.
I just wanted a story, man.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Not as many,
really...
not a bunch of them. I just wanted one story. One Luis story.
Were you asleep for that?
No, it didn't exist.
Yes, it did.
When?
We'll have to...
He talks about how him and Scott met, and then it goes through, like, everything that's been going on.
Yeah, like, right in the, middle of the film. You missed it, bro.
Yeah.
Did I miss it?
And they give him the truth potion.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't feel the same.
Well,
I didn't get that. I didn't get the satisfaction from it.
I gotta tell you, there were a couple things that actually bothered me about this film, even though I liked it. And I know we've already passed it, but I want to circle back to some things.
No, go for it.
That's fine. Do that.
Is one... there were too many antagonists. Like I felt really pulled on all different sides, and I mean I guess that that's the way that Scott feels in this movie. But I didn't get to focus on a single person that was the antagonist. I didn't have a Thanos or an Ultron, the single force that, you're forced to go up against. You are, you have to stay on house arrest, or Jimmy Woo is going to come get you, or, Sonny Birch is this, black market dealer who, this or Ghost. There's all of these characters that are coming at you from all sides. And that did present a particular challenge to this entire storyline, which was pretty cool. But it was hard for me to like that, to not have to be focused.
Can I rebuff this point?
Yeah.
You want to rebuff or rebut?
Both. I don't know what it means. I don't know the words. I can't speak English. English isn't my first language.
That's fine. I'll send you a dictionary for Christmas.
Please do. I would love a dictionary.
James, you don't have any money. Don't.
I'm poor, guys.
Okay, so
poor.
I think it's so weird that you guys are cluing in on the as your complaints, the things I actually liked about the movie, which I guess is really crazy that we have this opposite perspective. The whole thing about a superhero is that the villains rise up in the same way that the superheroes do. Scott is a family man. He's a father-daughter kind of guy. It's a father-daughter kind of movie. And then you have Hope and Hank, and then you have Ghost and Morpheus. What is his name?
Laurence Fishburne.
I know Laurence Fishburne. What's his name in the movie?
Bill Foster.
Yeah, Dr. Bill Foster. Yeah.
Dr. Bill Foster, right. Ghost is his daughter, correct? Or adopted daughter or protege?
Adopted daughter would probably be the closest.
Right, exactly. So it's rising up to meet the challenge. The same way the challenge that Ant-Man that Scott has thrown down is he is this criminal, but he is also a family man superhero.
Well, one of the things I really liked was that Bill Foster's character wasn't by necessity a villain. He had unique and interesting and dynamic motives that as it began, he was I'm going to do whatever I can to help Ghost out because she's going to explode or whatever if time runs out because the particle or the quantum, whatever. Action movie
She's
nonsense.
unstuck in space-time.
No, I know, but he's just, And then as the movie progresses, he has this paradigm shift where he goes from like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect Ghost to we might actually be able to fix this problem without anyone passing. And I thought that was really cool. What I didn't like, and I'm with James on this, was Sonny Birch, Walton Goggins' character. Like, I didn't realize he was even a villain until he was a villain. I guess we're in spoiler territory now.
Well, give me a swoop.
But a swoop.
All right, now we can speak
Spoiler
freely,
time.
Which is great because it's been really tough.
That was
Like,
the longest we've gone spoiler free
I
by
can't
like
do that
half an
anymore.
hour.
No, I mean, but so yeah, Laurence Fishburne's character is like the Washington Nationals, right? So they last year got to the playoffs without any serious contention, right? Well, this year they have serious contention from 2 teams in their division, and it's harder for them to get there. So, like, what am I trying to say? Oh,
I don't know. I just think you want to talk
got
about
you.
the
No,
Nats.
I got you. So they have to try even harder to get to where they need to go, which is the playoffs, right? Well,
Right.
Laurence Fishburne's character is very similar. I'll do whatever it takes, but now he's coming up against some serious opposition, which is, breaking his moral code. Like, I will not do X, Y, or Z to help you survive, even
But
though
in order to survive, you're going to need to do X, Y, and
yeah,
Z.
yeah. Well, in Ghost's mind, yeah, like I'm gonna tear Miss Van Dyne apart or whatever to be able to live. Like, she doesn't care, but Laurence Fishburne's character does. So he comes up against
Right.
that resistance. Like, now what is that next step that he needs to do to make sure that he meets the challenge of saving her?
Now, I do have a question for you. Did you get chills when Michelle Pfeiffer took the helmet off in the Quantum Realm?
So
No.
no,
No.
like
No,
I knew
I
it was
didn't.
her. Like, I knew it was her. Like,
I knew it was her, and I thought she was in the first movie for some reason. Like, when she pulled the helmet off, I was like, oh, she's back.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think, oh, this is the introduction of that character, and this is a huge moment.
No,
Well,
I mean, I thought
it's
it was a huge moment for the story, but that whole storyline is probably one of the more problematic ones because, like, we have to just, like you said, go along with the fact that the quantum realm exists, that there's all this science to it. We have to throw it all out like it's gobbledygook, even though I think you can play it up to, with the perspective that I had with Scott Lang. And then, surprise, she's back in the real world and she's got magic healing powers.
Right, because
Right.
she's absorbed the quantum realm.
Yeah, it changes a person.
I just felt like that whole thing was so forced. Like, this movie...
It's setting
Yeah.
up a plot device.
Right, this movie,
is what it's doing.
yeah, and that's the thing that drives me crazy in these movies is that like
Doctor Strange did the same thing, and so did Thor.
this movie existed specifically to set that plot device up.
Yeah.
Well, here's what it did. Is it setting up another option for the plot device? Because Thor is uber god, right? Doctor Strange can control time. And so now you've got new options as to how we're going to control big bads moving forward.
This whole movie, and this is why I don't think it earned the scene, because it was a very emotional post-credit scene. That was the best scene in the whole movie by a long shot.
It's because you were back watching Infinity War and you were like, oh,
It's not even that.
crap.
It's just like and maybe that was a different director. Maybe that was the Russo brothers stepping in, being like, "Hey, we're gonna do this one scene because it fits with our movie. Thank you." But that was the only part of the movie that felt like it was treated with any kind of reverence. Was that post-credit scene? But the movie did not earn that post-credit scene.
No, I agree with you there. The rest of the movie was not serious enough to get that post-credit scene. But like obviously that's the whole point of the Thanos thing, is that like it doesn't matter how serious you are or whatever you are. I'm going to snap my fingers and I'm going to take the Wasp away, and I'm going to take the old Wasp away and the old Ant-Man away because screw you, that's why.
Well, they are all useless.
Well, my biggest question was, did he survive in the quantum realm because he was in the quantum realm, or did he survive because of some chance, fate? I mean, we know that Kevin
survive?
Feige and Ant-Man.
I would say by chance.
Yeah, you say by chance. So you think that creatures, beings, whatever, in the quantum realm also were destroyed in the snap?
Well, there was only one when it happened.
Yeah, but
and he survived.
We don't know who else exists there. I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer existed there for a long time, and so do those weird worm things that were
Ant-Man
in the
did not
quantum.
disintegrate.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. Did he survive because of chance, or did he survive because he was protected by the quantum?
I think he's survived by chance.
I don't think it matters.
Because the quantum realm isn't working the way that science would say it does, because he's able to have a comm link out of it, right? So time is happening the way it's supposed to. So the like folding of the dimensions isn't really happening in there. You're just really small.
So you said it's by chance.
I say it's by chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
you're.
I just think you're overthinking that one.
I mean, I've overthought a lot of different points going back on different films.
He survived in the quantum realm because they're not going to kill Ant-Man at the end of Ant-Man's own movie.
No, I see you. Like I'm not going to argue.
I don't mean to be that guy.
Was it not called Spider-Man Infinity War?
I don't mean to be that guy, but like it just there was I don't know. To me, there was never a chance that Scott was gonna get cornflaked, and I get that that's because he's already been revealed on the set of Avengers 4. Like there's already
pictures
and set footage, which sucks. Like I hate that part of this whole thing is all the congruency of it, and the fact that these movies are announced 3 years ahead of time. It drives me nuts. It's like they just confirmed Guardians 3. Why did you do that?
Yeah, Guardians 3
who wasn't going to go see? Who was going to go see Guardians 3 because they announced it in 2018 for release in like 2021? Who is really sitting here going, man, I really needed to know that right now? Just leave some kind of mystery.
Is it, to me, it wasn't confirmed. Like, and it still doesn't even necessarily have to be that they're necessarily coming back. Like, it was revealed in Spider-Man that Miles Morales is a real character, and Sony is pushing the Miles Morales thing. So there's no reason why Marvel couldn't do the same thing.
Spider-Man Homecoming 2, which is A, the dumbest name I've ever heard in my life. B,
Far From Home?
What?
Far From Home?
Is that what the new title?
Yeah, I think they released.
Yeah.
I think Tom
missed
Holland
that.
spoiled it.
Yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home.
I say that with air
Gotcha.
quotes because I don't think he spoiled it. I think it was they actually wanted him to leak that.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
It's how it always is when Tom Holland quote unquote spoils something.
Yeah. I have to say though that what I loved about this film was that it was I was trying to think of what it was like the entire time, because each Marvel film is unique in its own way, like I said before, and they all have different personalities. So like you've got Guardians of the Galaxy, which is the sci-fi adventure. You've got Captain America, the first one, which was this historical action film, and then you've got the next one, which is this like spy espionage film. But they all, Spider-Man Homecoming was this high school drama or high school comedy, and they all are superhero films, but they do a really great job of being something else too. And for this one, I didn't know what that was until probably end of last night, where I was like, wait a minute, this is a buddy cop film. This is one of those silly buddy cop movies where you got two police officers, detectives, whatever, trying to track down whoever the villain is, whoever the bad guy is. And along the way, they make just a ton of jokes. It's not serious. It's not, it's not anything that you should take, you should take it with a grain of salt, right? And that is exactly what this film was to me. Take out all the science mumbo jumbo. It didn't matter to me at all. It just mattered that there were two people. We finally got to see the Wasp, finally got to see them both in action. And the only thing that ruined it was the fact that all of the scenes were in the trailers. All of the good things were in the trailers. The salt shaker, the Hello Kitty Pez, Giant Man, all of it was spoiled.
I love Giant Man. I'm all about Giant Man and Goliath, Black Goliath. I will say one thing I am happy about is in Black Panther they established, like, it doesn't matter if you have the technology. I guess they established this in Iron Man too. But it doesn't matter if you have the technology or the capability to give everyone the power or every power to everyone, because people are making these suits or the powers or whatever they are, and we're just going to decide who gets what, and that's going to be okay. So, like, they could have made an army of Black Panthers in Wakanda, and they probably would have done a lot better against Thanos' army. But they didn't, because it's sacred, and only one person gets to do it. And the fact that, like, Scott's suit doesn't work was really annoying, and I was so tired of that by the end of it. But the fact that he doesn't have blasters or wings, it's like, oh, it's because he's Ant-Man. Ants don't have wings. Even though he's flying on an ant with wings. Ants don't have wings. That's just how it is.
And Antonio Banderas.
Ulysses S. Grant.
Yeah. I'm calling you Ulysses S. Grant.
Like, yeah, that was
in the quantum realm.
That was one of the few moments where I actually laughed, like, solid laugh in the movie, where he was just like, sorry I'm late. I had to name my ant.
Have you seen the QU Antum realm, the quantum realm?
No.
As an ant nod. I thought that was funny.
So allow me. I know that I have said a lot of negative things about this movie so far, but actually, I feel like I've defended it more in the last 20 minutes than y'all have. So I don't know where that leaves us, but I said I liked everything that you guys hated. But allow me the indulgence of complaining about this movie for like 2 minutes, and then I'll move on and hear you guys out. Okay? Because I don't want to just sit here for the next hour and complain about this movie. It's like I do want to like it. I want to be not told, but I want to be persuaded as to why I should like it. But I just couldn't. I didn't like any of the characters in this movie. Like, any of them. Paul Rudd feels like he's so done with the Ant-Man character, even though he's been Ant-Man for like 5 minutes. It really reflected in the performance that he just felt like he was lazily reading every line.
I liked him. I thought he was fine.
I feel like Hope was so underutilized.
Oh, I was gonna say Hope's character, like the stock rose so much from the first film. Nah,
she annoyed me. Like, Hank is useless. He's just a bumbling idiot of an old man. Has no idea what he's doing.
I would watch any scene where they do that thing to his face.
Okay, I can see that.
Which scene?
Any scene where they make Michael Douglas 20 years younger.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I just got there's a lot of stuff about these characters. I didn't feel like anybody was used as well as they were in the first movie. Like I liked Luis. I liked that he got more of a role, but I didn't like the way they put him in that role. And I didn't feel like they were true to any of the characters from the first movie. And I get that it doesn't need to be a direct sequel, it doesn't need to reference it all the time, but it should maintain the spirit of the first movie through the characters. And I didn't feel like this movie did a good job at achieving that. Like,
it had a problem. It had a real problem in that it needed to, like, the big web is a problem, right? Because it's not the next part of the Ant-Man story, right? The next part of the Ant-Man story was Civil War.
What?
And that's hinted on pretty heavily, that, like, him going to Germany to fight for Captain America is like a big part of Paul Rudd's life.
Right.
That's why he's on house arrest. That's where Giant Man comes from. That's why they go meet Goliath. Like, that's why they're making that parallel story. So, like, you're not building off of Ant-Man 1. You are building off of Civil War with Ant-Man characters.
So
I don't feel like that was achieved either.
But you're saying that it had the one problem that Infinity War did, where Guardians 2 got in the way, but just in a different way. Like, I felt like it would have achieved more if it didn't have Guardians 2, but you're saying it would have achieved even less if it didn't have Civil War.
I think it would have been easier to follow up if it was if Civil War didn't.
James, you're not,
or if he didn't.
You're not implying that Guardians 2 was an enormous problem toward the plot of Infinity War.
I thought it was. Don't get me started. You want me to rant. You absolutely want me to go bananas.
You're exactly right, though. I agree with your saying.
I just think. My only problem with Guardians 2 is the storytelling problem. I don't know what it has to do with the plot. I just know that, like, everybody was like that they completely left out the Thanos relationship with Gamora and Guardians.
Right, and that's an enormous problem going forward with Infinity War, which is about Thanos and his relationship with Gamora.
Yeah, that was my entire problem with that.
Guardians 2 tried to hit the Nebula thing really hard, and like that Nebula's the new, superhero, whatever, the new good guy, and then Infinity War was just like, yeet, we like Gamora again because this is what we told you guys to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point that you make about the film being, basically it's the sequel to Civil War for Ant-Man. So,
well, I don't think they did those characters justice either. You don't get like angry, emo, I hate Tony Stark for locking me up in this place, Scott. You get just a watered down version of Ant-Man 1 Scott.
Right, like I liked Cap. Cap needed me.
Right, you don't get that. You don't get that Scott at all in this movie. Like, even less so than you get original Scott.
But his motivation to go to Germany wasn't because he was against Iron Man. It was because he basically owed a favor to Falcon for basically whooping his ass.
No, but go watch the end of Civil War again. Scott is mad, like big mood mad.
Yeah, because he's back in jail.
Right.
That's like Scott's whole thing. Is Scott won't
and
go
like
back
Scott in this movie could not give less of a crap about being on house arrest.
I mean, but we also saw him at year 2, where the goal wasn't to get out so he could fight Iron Man or prove himself to Iron Man, but it was to get out so he could continue to be with Cassie, who it's established from the first one is that's all he really cares.
But what you're doing there is telling a lot of the story off screen, like toward what to redeem the character. Like you are making that connection here to redeem the character in this movie, which is fine. Like, you can do that. I don't want to do that. I would like the character to be true to either version of what it was.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a legit way to look at it.
That's my thing for this. Is just I couldn't get behind the villains, man, and I hate the the villains are good guys now thing that happened at the end. It's like everybody got saved. There's no consequences.
Right. And that's kind of why I don't like so many antagonists in this, is because you don't have a resolution.
Well, it
You
had
know,
the Rogue One problem.
Rogue One had many problems, so you're gonna have to be specific.
It had the Rogue One problem.
Everyone has to die.
Right. Everybody in Rogue One had to die because there is a finite end. This
Right.
comes between whatever was before and Infinity War. So this also has a finite end. They came to a wall they had to run up against.
Right, and I mean, at this point, Ghost is not going to come back. I doubt Bill Foster will be back. No, I don't think. Jimmy Woo is the only character I think that might come back, and I was happy to see him go just because I was glad to see Scott win, but I thought he was hilarious throughout this entire
Oh my
film.
god, Jimmy Woo was amazing.
So funny. One of the best parts
So
of the
did you
film.
want to hang out, Scott?
I love that guy.
Or-
Asian Jim. He's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
That was the first thing
him-
I saw. He came on screen. I was like, "That's Asian Jim from The Office."
He needs to learn magic to impress people.
Oh my god, the magic thing. I was really laughing at that too.
Yeah, what if he comes
done.
back and teams up with Baron Mordo?
I don't think he will.
Don't
But
think
what
that's
if he
gonna happen.
does?
Why would he?
Because he wants to learn magic.
Oh.
So he goes and
that
seeks
would
out
be
the
an
wizard, and
interesting
Mordo's like, "Hey, I'm a dark wizard. What's up?"
Yeah, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
Still one of the best lines in the whole series.
Well, leaving the theater, though, Shannon looks at me with the most serious face, and she says, that was really funny, but nothing beats Baby Groot not being able to find the fin in all of the stuff in Guardians 2. And that makes me really uncomfortable because I agree with her. That's one of the funniest moments in all of Marvel, and it had to be in the worst film.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
That
I mean-
was one of the best executed cinematic jokes I've ever seen in my life.
The Groot doesn't get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
You know what I didn't get?
went on just long enough, and it had just a satisfying enough payoff to almost redeem the whole movie.
You know what I didn't get? I looked up during this movie and I said, that's J.J. Watt. That's J.J. Watt right there. That is J.J. Watt. Saved Houston after the hurricane. J.J. Watt. I'm in Shannon's ear the entire movie like, Shannon, that's J.J. Watt. That's him. One of his goons. One of Sonny Birch's goons, that's J.J. Watt. And then I looked on IMDb. That wasn't J.J.
It's
Watt.
not JJ. I was like,
It's
what are you
not
talking
J.J. Watt at all. I felt so stupid. I'm like,
Do you know what JJ Watt looks like? Have you
yeah,
watched The League?
no, I haven't seen The League. I need to watch it. I just got finished with Luke Cage, so maybe I might be able to watch The League.
You should watch The League. The League is hilarious.
I've
For
heard
as much as you love fantasy sports,
I'm very into the fantasy sports. I have not won a single fantasy sports competition. Well, no, I lied. I won last year.
I got one Aaron Rodgers touchdown away.
I remember, this is a true story about James in fantasy sports. One time, he was in class at Carnegie Mellon for his master's program, and I called James, and he was like, I'm in class. What? And I was like, you need to leave class. I need help with fantasy right now. And he left his class, grabbed his things, left class, called me back, and was like, what do you need to know? And I have no idea who I was starting, but I was like, do I start so-and-so or so-and-so? What do I do? And James walked me through the whole thing.
I don't remember
James,
that at
now
all.
that I know you've never won a... Oh, God.
Okay,
now
I
feel like I won.
got
Okay,
one-
I lied. I won twice. So the first one was a Dynasty Fantasy Football League that I inherited. I got to pick between two teams. One was a scrub and one was awesome. And I picked the awesome one and literally didn't change a thing and won. And then the second one was fantasy baseball with people that were not involved and was the easiest way to win. And I did. And then I quit 2 years later. So I wouldn't consider them quality wins.
I got within one Aaron Rodgers to Richard Rodgers drop touchdown of winning the whole league one year. Literally one garbage time dropped touchdown.
That makes me sad.
I lost by 1 point at the end of the whole season in the championship.
I have one fantasy baseball league that I'm really serious about, and I've gotten as far as second place in 2 years of being in this league, and we've been doing it since 2010. We've been doing the same thing since 2010, and I have not gotten to the championship yet. So my life's goal, my life's work is to actually win this league. It's not working.
At this rate, the Nats are going to win the World Series before you win fantasy baseball.
That's
Nats are going to win the World Series. It's going to happen this year.
It
Yeah.
might, man. England's about to win the World Cup. The Caps just didn't choke in the playoffs. Wayne Rooney
Yeah.
plays in DC.
DC is where it's at.
We got to go to a United game, Tyler,
They're in a new stadium.
as of
Hey,
next weekend.
Audi Stadium, yes. And if you guys come to DC again and don't call me, I'm gonna be real mad.
Hey Jim,
Here's the thing.
you want to go to a
James,
DC United game?
90% of the times,
Yes, I'd love to go to a DC United game. It's closer than
90% of the time I'm in DC. It's not to hang out with anybody.
Yeah, that's true. Although it's closer than Pittsburgh, and we did almost plan a trip for you guys to come up.
James, would it make your life if I took you to a Nationals game?
It would, yes. And then we could watch Infinity War.
That sounds fine.
It needs to drop on Netflix first, because
Also,
I'm not going to Redbox.
Tyler, I'm not surprised that James left class at Carnegie Mellon to talk to you about fantasy football. I remember when James called me to tell me he got into Carnegie Mellon and was just not even excited.
Oh, yeah. That was great. I didn't do my research.
You were just like, well, I got into Carnegie Mellon for grad school. And I was like, wait, you got into the program that you wanted at a school that I've heard of, and you're not stoked?
So this is what I did.
Well, it's like my 8th choice.
So this is what I did. I applied to like 4 or 5 schools, 6 schools or something like that. I don't know. And I only did it based on like geographic preference. So I was like, Northeast, we're going to Boston. I've got 2 schools in DC. I've got Pittsburgh. I've got 1 in Virginia, which was George Mason. So I've got these 5 schools, and I didn't get accepted to any of them but Carnegie Mellon. I went to the one school that accepted me, which was Carnegie Mellon.
You know that like
University.
Carnegie Mellon is like a real deal school, right?
Yes, I found that out when I started taking like the online campus tour, because they've got this really great digital like tour.
I'm sure they do,
Yeah,
because it's an awesome school.
yeah. And so I start doing that, and I look up at my mom when she comes in the room, and I said, Mom, I don't think they know who I am, because I wouldn't have gotten into the school if they really knew who I was. Like, this must be a joke. It was not a joke. My student loans can tell you it's not a joke. I can tell you it's not a joke. So, so I got into Carnegie Mellon, and the 2 years of awesome like grad school kicking my butt, you know, but like Pittsburgh's a wonderful town. You should all go visit. All your listeners should. Actually, you know what? That should be where the next meetup you should be.
We'll all go to a
I was
Pirates
like
game.
Raleigh,
Hey,
Richmond.
you can get tickets real cheap for the Pirates games.
Are they terrible?
Well, they're currently beating the Nats 6-3, but
Do they
Juan
still
Soto
have Andrew McCutchen?
No, Andrew McCutchen got traded to the San Francisco Giants this past
All right, cool. I don't know a single Pirates player. I know that Robinson Cano apparently plays for the Mariners.
Yes, he's currently serving a suspension for alleged PED use.
That breaks my heart, man.
It's bad. It's bad.
That was my dude.
Well, he didn't get busted for the PED used. He got busted for a substance that makes you pee a lot, so that he could pass it from his urine, and they wouldn't have been able to.
Here's the thing I'm learning about Carnegie Mellon, though, is that
I just said
this school's not that pretty.
I just said urine on your podcast, and I just broke Ethan.
That is the best substance violation I've ever heard in my entire life. Holy crap.
I just don't get this substance violation thing. Does not make any freaking sense to me.
Yes,
Your
steroids is a
job.
big deal in baseball, dude. I don't know if you've noticed that over the past 2 decades.
I've noticed it, but like your job is to literally play a sport for millions of dollars and not do drugs.
And yet they still do, and they still get caught.
And it's like consistently
guess-
baseball players, like the good ones. Believe it or not, when
Yeah.
you hit a bunch of home runs, baseball's not like one of those sports where it's like, oh, you don't have to hit the ball very hard. It's not golf, where like being stronger in baseball makes a difference. Turns out you just got to whack a ball over a fence with a stick.
Bryce Harper would never do anything.
I refuse to believe that. Bryce Harper is definitely on steroids.
Bryce Harper, if he can hit a ball, I mean, he's hitting like 200 this year, so...
If there's 2 players in the league I want to keep an eye on, it's Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper.
But Aaron Judge is really tall. He's like 6'7".
He is really tall, and he hits an unreasonable amount of home runs for somebody who's like 12.
Yeah.
But like, turns out when you're Barry Bonds, you're smacking 73 dingers a year, people start to take notice.
Dangers. Just dangers.
Yeah, R.I.P. Phil Rizzuto.
Guys, so...
That was the most I've spoken about baseball in probably 10 years.
That's okay. We can get you from rooting for the Cards and rooting
I'm
for
having an
actually
existential
legitimate
crisis
teams.
about baseball right now. I literally started crying over a Macklemore song about baseball the other day. It's a weird thing that's happening in my life right now.
You know what's weird? So, when you brunch, do you like alternate drinks?
No, I get a mimosa every time.
No, I mean, yes, you get a mimosa, but like for me, I always do coffee first, then mimosa, and then another coffee.
I don't know that I would order them in that order. I'm drinking both of them the whole time.
Well, that's what happened to me. And I had to leave the movie theater with my old man bladder and go to the bathroom
It's not an old man bladder, James. You're like 3 feet tall.
right when they were having the reunited with Michael Douglas. I had to miss Ant-Man seeing Michael Douglas
Wait
for
a
the
minute.
first time.
You went to the bathroom during a movie?
Yes! That's the problem.
Oh, that is.
I go to the bathroom during
criminal,
almost
James.
every movie I see.
it was.
Do you
If I
really?
drink something,
criminal.
yeah.
I went to
The
the
last time I went to the bathroom at the movies was the scene in I Am Legend where they go into the parking garage.
I went during Infinity War the first time. It's bad.
God.
This is what your younger listeners get to look forward to. When they start to push 30, it's hard to control. So the weirdest bathroom moment I ever had was I was at a Beyonce concert, and yeah, I went to see Beyonce at Heinz Field,
What a
and I think I
statement.
saw
That's cool. That's really cool.
I think I saw
cool.
Beyonce for like $35. I kid you not.
That's pretty cool.
I bought legit.
I would rather
well,
light $35 on fire.
No, I saw. So it was great. It was a formation tour.
I
Sat
would
front row-
definitely rather light $35 on fire.
I sat front row of the 400 level section so I could sit down the entire time and not have to stand up to like see over people. But anyway, I go to the bathroom and I walk into the bathroom and it's a ghost town. No one there. There's like 2 dudes.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like the Heinz Field bathrooms are like trough style urinals.
Yeah,
so they're
yeah.
like out in the open, right? And there's like 2 dudes and then me. And then one guy leaves and I'm like, this is the spookiest thing I've ever seen. Because I've been to a Steelers game and I see all these yinzers out here like just loading this trough
What are they
up.
called?
Yinzers.
What is a yinzer?
Yinzer, I will explain Yinzer later. So
Yins
all
is
these
what
yin-
Pittsburghers say instead of y'all.
yeah, it's like you guys basically. It's yins. So the yins is big. Yinzers. I'm seeing all these yinzers for Steeler games, not for Beyonce concert. So I enjoy the concert. I think it's great. We're leaving. We're going down one of those like spiral walkways, right? And I'm observing who's at this concert, and it's girls with their girlfriends and girls with their girlfriends. No.
Oh.
And then like random boyfriends and dads.
Right.
And so it was like had to be 90+% women. And I was like, that explains why it was a ghost town. There's no men here.
So it was really like literally no dudes there at all.
No, it was I literally thought I was going to die in that bathroom. I thought someone's going to pull me into a stall and do like the who does number 2 work for, like out of the wall, like Austin Powers did. Like I literally thought I was going to get like shanked in this bathroom. It was literally just like the spookiest experience. Like how come they can only come in 3s? Like you were explaining like in the Deadpool episode how like jokes come in 3s but like they didn't work. This one was like people come in 3s and I think I'm gonna get murdered in Heinz Field. Like I'm gonna be the next Clue board game Yinzer edition. Like that's what's gonna happen.
I had a very similar experience
It
seeing.
was James with a lead pipe in the Pittsburgh Steelers bathroom.
I had a very similar experience seeing Ed Sheeran at the Verizon Center or whatever it's called now, Capital One Arena.
The Capital One Arena,
In
where
DC.
where the Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals
Okay,
play.
well, so they
That's
had
right.
they had
That's
not
right.
changed they had changed the name like officially, but not on the building when I saw.
Oh yeah.
When I was
They
there
did
for that.
it lasted forever. It was like
Yep.
the Verizon Center, but it was already the Capital One Arena. Yeah.
Right. It's like inside it said Capital One Arena, outside it said Verizon Center. So I was like, okay, this is weird. Anyway, it had changed like 3 days prior. I looked it up.
You can't just shut down
'cause-
Chinatown, Ethan. It's a
Well, I got
process.
an email
Racist.
from Ticketmaster. It was like, hey, by the way, the name of your venue has changed. The venue has not changed. Don't go somewhere else. And I was like, okay, whatever. I knew where I was going anyway. It's not that hard.
You go to Chinatown.
We've been there before. But what was I saying? I was literally the oldest guy there, like the oldest male there, that was not a parent.
It was the same thing when we went to Panic at the Disco.
Oh, I want to see
It was
Panic
like,
at the Disco.
Oh, you're gonna feel really old.
I wanna
You're gonna
go.
feel really old. You're gonna be like, "Where's my
Yeah, there's
daughter?
a kid
I
next to
should've
me that's
brought
like,
her."
Vegas Lights is their best song. And I'm like, kill yourself.
I'm like, oh my God, is it 9 p.m? No, it's not to you. Ugh.
Oh God.
But yeah, I went to the bathroom at Ed Sheeran at the Verizon Center, and I was just alone. And it was like intermission, like between artists.
That's not good. That's spooky.
Yeah, that's a good way to know that you're gonna die
That's-
at an Ed Sheeran concert.
That's awful.
In fact, that's a good name for a punk album. I died at an Ed Sheeran concert.
Dude, if you ever want to experience the most terrible thing ever, is go to like a pop concert indoors. I didn't need earplugs from the music. I needed earplugs from the screaming.
Oh, that's what happened to me the second time I saw Switchfoot. Like back when Switchfoot was good.
That's not what I was expecting that sentence to end with.
It was at the Norva, and everyone's packed in there like sardines, and these girls were behind us, and we were right in front of their bass player, and they thought he was hot. And so literally they play a song and they just scream like your ear. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
No, but you ever hear a noise and you're like, this is doing damage to my eardrums. Like I feel like I'm actively losing my hearing right now. And that is how I felt with these women screaming. It's like I never understood. My dad talked about seeing the Beatles, and I never understood it until I was in that room with that many 12-year-old women just screaming. And I was like, this is
screaming for a British artist.
Physically painful.
Yeah, when one of my coworkers sneezes at work, I feel that way. It's one of those like violent and loud sneezes.
Oh, that's me. To the T. I sneeze very loudly.
It literally scares people, and they know that he sneezes that way, and yet people don't prepare themselves for it. I just don't understand. But I will say that, like, I don't know what that feels like to have, like, 12-year-old, like, girls, like, screaming at, like, artists, because the last 2 concerts I went to, I kid you not, were Barry Manilow and Queen, and everyone was old as dirt there.
You were telling me about Barry Manilow that it was like...
Oh, it was surreal, man.
There were all these
Fanalos that were just like screaming, just screaming their butts off about this guy. It was so fun. And he's like old and like he's got the arthritis. So like his shoulders are kind of elevated and stiff, and his knees and elbows are stiff, and he's like dancing. Oh, it was the funniest thing.
Tyler and I went to see Elton John at the Roanoke Civic Center, and we were like the youngest people in there that weren't like somebody's small child that got dragged.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I have a terrible confession about that concert. I dozed off for moments, and I was
happens.
So mad at myself. I was so mad. But he's just so good.
I'm going to experience the same thing that I experienced at Queen and I experienced at Barry Manilow when I go see Shania Twain this Sunday at the Verizon Center.
Let me tell you about going to a Shania Twain concert.
Yo,
there is nothing better you could spend your money on or time on
I'm ready.
than going to a Shania Twain
I have been
concert.
ready since the 1990s. I am so ready.
Let me get a big yeah.
That's not
I know
Shania.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
But man, it's Gretchen Wilson or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is Gretchen Wilson, yep.
I just don't know what to expect other than Shania Twain, and I will be singing every word of Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
I was going to say, you're definitely going to feel like a woman.
Yep, it's going to happen. I'm no shame.
That is going to be some female empowerment right there.
It's going to be great. I'm excited.
I'm excited for you.
I'm
so jealous.
I'm so pumped. And then we have to go see the Jason Aldean concert in Virginia Beach because I'm not going here.
I'm about it.
Yes, we're going to go. Ty, if you want to come.
Is it for America Fest or whatever?
No.
That's probably going on.
It's
just
going to be
at
like
the
a random concert. Yeah, and Luke Combs is opening up for them, and he's dope. Like, country music that I haven't heard in a long time is Luke Combs.
I'm telling you, he writes the best Blake Shelton songs that Blake Shelton hadn't written since 2008.
Yeah. You know what makes me mad about Blake Shelton?
Lots of things.
Everything.
He came out with Red River Blue the same day that Chris Young came out with Neon, and he got better. It was better for him. That Chris Young album was the best album of the year, best album of the 2010s. It was great.
Tell you the truth, Chris Young is one of the best male vocalists I've seen live ever.
Oh, Chris Young was amazing live.
Ever.
James, you and I saw Chris Young, and I had no idea who he was except the guy that sang "Oh No" at that point.
Yeah.
And he opened for Dierks Bentley, and you were like, "This is gonna be good," and I'm like, "All right, whatever." And then he started singing, and I was like, "Okay, this guy can sing."
Yeah. Chris Young is good.
Yeah, he's a real deal.
I've seen him multiple times. Awesome. Great. There are a couple of artists I really want to see right this minute. I would do anything. I'd go see Jamie Johnson one more time because I've never seen anything like Jamie Johnson in concert. The man doesn't go up with a set list, goes up with a guitar, his band follows him in, and the band follows him based on what he's playing. And they don't know what it's going to be. It could be any of his songs. And then at the end of his set, he said, "You know what, guys? The show you paid for is now over. But you know what? We're going to sit here and keep playing, and you're welcome to stay. Take this job and shove it, bump, bump." What is happening? What's happening, Ethan? I have no idea.
I don't know. I've never seen
Jamie
Jamie
Johnson.
I have no idea. Jamie Johnson does
good.
In Color, right? He has other songs.
In Color. Yeah, you should listen to his CDs. It's literally, he's got a black and white album that's nothing but crying in your beer music. And it's the best.
I mean, I would pay money to watch Jamie Johnson sing In Color. And like I could just he could walk out on stage, play that song, and leave, and I would feel like I got my money's worth. That's one of the best songs ever written in human history.
I want to see him. I want to see him. I want to see Sunny Sweeney because she's legit.
No idea who that is.
Oh, look her up. Sunny Sweeney. You have to start from her first album.
Some country deep cuts here.
Yeah, you need to listen to her first album, which has From a Table Away and Staying's Worse Than Leaving. Yeah. Very good.
Fair enough.
Sunny Sweeney. She's great. And then I gotta see my boy Darius every time.
You and Darius Rucker, man.
Hey, no, whatever, what is that thing he did with Luke Bryan and like 17 other people?
He Straight to Hell.
Yeah, that song rips.
Like it's good?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't like it until the video came out, and I was like, wait a minute, I guess this is kind of a good song.
I loved it, man. And I watched some of the background on it, and like every single person was like, Darius Rucker's an incredible musician to work with. Like that was the most fun I've ever had recording a song.
Oh, I believe he's super talented to work with.
I have no problem with Darius
Hootie's
Rucker outside of Wagon Wheel. That's it. It extends specifically to Wagon Wheel.
Well, yeah, I love the rest of Hootie's music.
Yeah. If you want to, though, I do want to bring this up, James. If you want to see somebody that doesn't play with a set list but does it incredibly well, I got to see Ben Folds, one of our fraternity brothers, play a paper airplane show where each person, as they walked in, got a paper airplane and like a pen.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
And you wrote the name. You wrote the name of a song on the paper airplane, and he walked out on stage, which is like, okay, everybody throw your airplanes. Everybody chucks their paper airplanes on stage. There's like hundreds and hundreds of paper airplanes on this stage, and he would just run over and grab 5 of them and play whatever songs are written, and then go over and grab like 5 more and play whatever songs are written. His songs, any song. Like he played all kinds of covers, just him and a piano and a string quartet. It was awesome.
That's amazing. Well, so Zach Brown Band is doing a stadium concert at Nats Park, and the only reason I'm not going is because it's super expensive. But that is a show that if you have the chance and you haven't seen it, I know you've seen them, right?
I haven't. I've never gotten to see Zach Brown.
I have not.
Holy crap!
I've been trying to for years, but it's never been in the
so
cards.
Good. They have got to be some of the most. I mean, talk about musicians. Like those guys, they kill it every night. It's insane. I've seen them a couple of times, and it's just you can't get any better.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, I absolutely believe it. Zach Brown can also sing. That dude's got a voice.
Those ballads, man, or those like slow jams.
Oh yeah.
Like Colder Weather. Like, oh God, man. It's like the harmonies are perfect. The story is just gut wrenching. It's
great when you get the words right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ethan once performed Colder Weather, and he got the words right.
I can hear your perfume through these whispering pines. I can hear your perfume.
I can taste your perfume.
I said I can hear your perfume, and I've never been able to live it down.
Lick your perfume.
Oh, guys, karaoke, guys. I have to tell you one karaoke story, and then a couple of songs I've added to my karaoke repertoire. You ready?
So it's not just "Roll to Me" by Delamitri.
No, but that's top on the list. You cannot replace "Roll to Me" by Delamitri.
Right when he gets there, he's singing "Roll to Me" by Delamitri.
Yeah.
It's 2 minutes and 32 seconds.
Yeah.
He's quick.
I remember we rolled up to a karaoke night one time, and James is standing there with a pitch pipe on his phone, like humming a note to himself.
Words. I was listening to the words, trying to make sure I didn't get them messed up. I had it in my ear. No, okay. So I did live band karaoke for the very first time about a year ago, and there's a restaurant in Chinatown called Hill Country Barbecue, and it's a chain. There's several of them. Like there's one in New York, I think there's one in Chicago, but they have one here in DC. And you walk in, and it's like heaven. Only if heaven was slathered in barbecue sauce. And they serve Pepsi products, which I know is highly contentious, but they've got Mountain Dew, which makes me happy. But you go downstairs.
So white trash.
Yeah, you go downstairs to this like hole in the wall, like little like venue. There's a bar in the back, and there's a small stage up front. And people crowd in this place for live band karaoke. A band, you go up there, you write down the song that you want to play. They have a list. It's like a limited list. It's not like endless, like, when you go to karaoke night. They have a list of stuff that they do, and it's full of like karaoke, like standards, like Don't Stop Believin', and, they've got Taylor Swift stuff, and, all sorts of stuff that people will know, like people get hyped to. And so I go up there and I put my song down, and it takes like an hour for me to sing, maybe like an hour and a half. It's a long wait. And in that time, I start psyching myself out. I'm like, no one's gonna know this song. No one's gonna know this Garth Brooks song. No one knows this Garth Brooks song, James. You need to go back and find a song that someone's gonna know. So I go back and I can't find a song that they know. So I'm like, great. Well, I guess I'm calling Baton Rouge with Garth Brooks tonight. And I walk up there and I get ready for it. And all of a sudden I start hearing a fiddle, because you know how the song starts, right? And
I don't.
Well,
I don't know this
You don't know
song
Calling
at
Baton Rouge? Well, Ethan knows Calling Baton Rouge, and we can leave it in show notes or wherever we put it.
It's very hard to leave Garth Brooks in the show notes.
Yeah.
He doesn't let you listen to his music.
Yeah, that's true. So the intro has a fiddle part, and I'm like, there's no fiddle on the stage. Where is this coming from? I'm like so psyched out, and I look over, and the keyboard player is playing the fiddle part. I'm like, I'm so distracted, I miss my entrance. I'm like, oh God, this is awful. So I start singing, because I pick it up, and I get to like part where like the singing stops, and you're waiting for the next verse, and this gigantic black guy in the front is like, you better sing it! You sing it! And at that point, I'm like, okay, people in this bar know this song. So at that point, my adrenaline kicks right in, and I don't remember jack until I step off the stage and I look at Shannon and go, how was that? She's like, I got a photo. It's pretty cool. I'm like, oh my gosh. I have it on Instagram somewhere, but holy crap.
James, I'm really glad that worked out for you, because Calling Baton Rouge is a very questionable karaoke song.
They know a ton of country music and like a bunch of like pop.
That's
like,
awesome, though. I'm so glad that worked out for you.
It was literally the coolest thing I've ever done, but like I don't remember jack from the experience, because it was just like I was on like adrenaline was way too high.
I've seen some pretty awkward karaoke before.
I mean, and you could tell that they were into it too, because like when you got these guys like coming from work, they just hit happy hour, they maybe had like a function, their tie is like loose or whatever, and they're up there, they're drunk, they're singing some Taylor Swift song. You can tell that they're in hell, right? These guys are like, oh, we do this because we get paid. But then when you got someone up there that like actually knows the words, doing a song that's like good but like not one of those like terrible like poppy songs or whatever, and like someone who can actually like carry a tune, like they were actually kind of into it, which I felt kind of good about.
You should feel good about that. I will say that is my biggest pet peeve at live band karaoke or piano bars, is when you're at the piano bar and it happens where somebody requests Don't Stop Believin', which is just the example I'm going to use, and the piano guy is like, we play this every freaking night. And it's like, and he says it out loud. I'm like, I don't, like, okay.
That's your job.
Don't ruin the experience for me because you play it every night. Like, you know what a cashier does every day? Ring up bananas, 4422. You just do it, okay? Like, that's just part of your job. You play Don't Stop Believin'.
Did you just...
Somebody
I thought you were saying bananas were $44.22.
Yeah,
and I was like,
then I had to
what bougie bananas are you eating over there that are $42 a bunch?
And then my mind went to, wait, did Tyler just remember the code for bananas to go up to pay for them? The answer is yes. You remember the code.
Well, I could be wrong about that. I just looked it up and it says 4011 on this website. I don't know. I was just, you know what I'm saying? Is you do the same thing over and freaking over again, and like whatever, just do it. Don't ruin my one night in this city by being like, oh, don't stop believing again. Like, just
are you referencing? I know what you're referencing.
It's happened everywhere we've been to. Every piano bar I've ever been to, that's happened.
Not at Pat O's in New Orleans.
They were very good.
They acted like Don't Play and Don't Stop Believin' was the coolest thing that's ever happened to them, as they did with every other song.
Oh my God, you know Journey?
So I added "Livin' La Vida Loca" by Ricky Martin to my karaoke repertoire.
I bet that one slays.
I'm sure you did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome.
Awesome. It's
you know who loves that song? Females.
Yeah.
Of all variety. I have never met if I meet a woman and she doesn't love Livin' La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin, she's probably a serial killer.
That's why I was so hyped at Hunter's wedding to hear Livin' La Vida. That's why I mentioned it. I mentioned it to your wife, Tyler, and she was like, I'm gonna go request that song right now. And sure enough, she got up from her seat, requested it, and then we were all like, Livin' La Vida Loca.
Ricky Martin can also sing.
He's good.
He was really good. I love the cast album of Evita with Ricky Martin in it.
Oh, I can't get over Antonio Banderas. I have like a soft spot for his recording of stuff. I know that you're like probably judging me hard.
No, I'm not. I loved the movie. I loved the movie recording. It's probably my favorite movie musical.
Ooh. Oh, this came up in the Discord. People were talking about movie musicals, about The Greatest Showman. I still haven't seen it.
I'll tell you what my favorite movie musical is not, and that is Phantom of the Opera.
It's awful.
Gerard Butler cannot sing.
It's bad. Well, I mean, he can carry a tune, but he's not good.
I mean, Russell Crowe and Les Mis was better, honestly.
I was about to wait, really? I was about to say it's not Les Mis bad.
Oh, I didn't like any of. I loved it.
I only liked Anne Hathaway in that movie.
Like
the rest of it was just bad.
You're right. Russell Crowe can't sing, but he put so much into the part. He just killed it.
Oh, and Samantha Barks.
Well,
she can sing.
She's a proper Broadway star.
Yeah, she sings that role in her sleep.
Right. She's not just like an actress that could kind of sing and fit the part. She's like, she is that role.
You know what I found out today? SpongeBob SquarePants the musical is closing.
That's probably for the best.
I mean, Shannon and I saw it in New York. We loved it.
I have not seen it. I have only seen pictures, and it looks like the stuff of nightmares.
I have to say, to bring it back to Ant-Man, you have to understand what the expectations are. Your expectations are for a SpongeBob SquarePants is that you're not going to go in and see like a Wicked or a Phantom of the Opera or a Hamilton. You're not going to get something that's like savory with substance. You're going to get something that's like cotton candy. It's fluffy, it's sugary. You're going to come out like feeling like you had fun. Like, I don't feel like I had fun if I went to go see Angels in America or Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Like, those things have substance. Maybe you might enjoy parts of it, but you're not going to come out like saying that was a dandy old time. But when you go see SpongeBob,
that was
like
not
at intermission,
a yabba dabba do time.
Yeah, not a yabba do time.
Not a yabba dabba do good time.
Nope, not at all. But like when you get to intermission, you're like, man, this is actually pretty fun. Like, there's songs from Lady A in here, and Steven Tyler, and like John Legend, and like all these people contributed to it. And like the set was something it was out of this world. It was so good. And the guy that did the sound effects has his own nook, like on the side of the stage. It's just him and a bunch of and he's programmed it all, like with all the sound effects. So like when they want Squidward to have the feet noises, he's got them. When SpongeBob's got the feet noises, when they've got anything else, it did not disappoint. It was good.
I bet it. I believe it's an undertaking. I definitely believe that.
But we paid $35 a ticket to see it because we won the lottery. So like we didn't go in paying like $80 a ticket. We paid like $35 and we had a good time type of money, not like Hamilton better be good for $200 a ticket type of money.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Book of Mormon for like $11 a ticket at Chrysler Hall. So.
Oh, I hate you. The first time I saw it for $159.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you knew every word, every song. You knew it was good.
I did, yeah, and that was the problem.
I will tell you, you do not get the full story from listening to just the audio of Book of Mormon at all. It
I
makes
have no idea
so much more sense.
But I know every word to every song.
Oh no, you're right. But like when you have 85% of it, that 15% doesn't feel good when you pay $150.
No, it feels good when you pay 11 and you finally understand what's her name, Nabalungi.
Yeah.
You finally understand her character for the first time and why she's important.
And why it's hilarious when she asks, "Did you get my text?"
Well, and you understand that everybody gets that it's not actual fact.
Yeah.
Because it makes the whole thing make a lot more sense. But well,
anyway, to bring it back to Man
say.
and The Wasp, because we're getting close to wrap up time. If you all are ready to do some rankings, I do just want to point out real quick, Hyundai was the car sponsor of this movie. We haven't talked about the Marvel cars in a long time, the Carvel, if you will.
I thought that was really heavy-handed when they revealed it too. I was like, ooh. There was a moment in Luke Cage yesterday when we finished it where I was like, ooh, heavy-handed. Like, I know exactly what they're trying to say. And in this scene when the car comes up and it's right there in your face.
And the Veloster?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, cool.
Boo.
Hyundai.
The
That's
Veloster
cool.
might be the worst car made in the 21st century.
Was it a Veloster or was it an Elantra GT? I think it was a Veloster.
It was a Veloster. Pretty positive.
Okay.
I don't know.
I wouldn't-
I
wouldn't say it's the worst car ever made because then you're going to bring up the Trabant.
The Trabant. Yeah.
What about the Nova?
The Nova was great, man.
Yeah, but the Nova didn't sell overseas, especially in Spanish-speaking countries, because it was Nova. Doesn't go.
That's okay because everybody in the whole of the United States had a Chevy Nova. It's like still one of the best-selling cars Chevy's ever made. They made plenty of money.
Pause for one moment. You drove a Chevy Blazer?
Yeah, for like 4 years.
My dad had a Blazer. Split blue. Like faux leather seats that cracked and were so hot on your legs.
Nah,
like
mine
when
were
you
cloth.
would sit down in the summer. Oh, dude. That was the best.
I drove a 96 S10 Blazer. It was red, like maroon.
Dude, my dad had something.
No, it was red, like red.
I mean, it wasn't red like the fit.
It was red,
No,
like
the fit was red.
like
It's
blood.
It was darker than my current car.
It was red like blood. Yeah.
But I
That's a
mean,
good
I
way to
love
describe
that thing. It had like a 4.0 liter V6 engine in like a small SUV, and it was rear wheel
fast.
drive, and like you would hit it off the line, and it would just lift up on the back wheels and just start spitting out black smoke. Like that car was nuts, man. It got like 8 miles a gallon, and then I hit it with something, a truck. I hit it with a truck, and it got like 4 miles a gallon.
Oh no.
Yeah, I sold it for $1,000 though, like totaled.
I would love $1,000. Someone give me $1,000. Go to my solo Patreon page.
Well, I bought a new car with that
donate
money.
$1,000. GoFund for my student loans.
All right, well let's get into some Ant-Man and the Wasp wrap up. Does anybody have any last thoughts about the movie, or did we really just have nothing else to say?
I just want to say I want to see it again. Like, I didn't want to, but now I want to. I'll buy another ticket to see it.
I think every Marvel film deserves a second viewing, and it needs to happen in its own time. So, like, if you want to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp tomorrow because you feel ready, go do it. Like, I saw Infinity War 3 times, and I thought the third time wasn't going to be enough, and I was like, okay, it's time to stop. For me, like, I'm not going to see Ant-Man and the Wasp for a long time. And it'll be all right. Hey, Tyler, is your wife watching The Bachelorette like Shannon is right now?
More likely than not.
All right, well let's bring it
Bachelorette.
back to Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm
gonna give the villains in this movie like a 3.
The villains were awful.
I want to say one last thing about the movie real quick. I love the branding and the marketing for these Ant-Man movies. And, like, I love the posters, I think, are my favorite movie posters, where it's just a big white background.
Oh, and then, like, little people.
Tiny thing on it.
Little tiny
And
ant.
there was, like, there were, like, little tiny billboards spread out through, like, all kinds of cities and like, miniature bus stops put next to real bus stops. And it just, I love that kind of viral marketing for it. And it felt genuine as opposed to, like, Deadpool, where it felt super forced. But I love the movie posters.
I just don't like Deadpool.
And that would be cool having copies of the movie posters in our future studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love this series.
I don't know. I want to have a conversation with you guys offline about this Deadpool hate, because, like, I was listening to it earlier today, and I was just kind of like, really shocked.
Deadpool 2 was
You're not going to convince us.
I'm not
promise
trying to
you.
convince you. I'm just saying, like, I was just shocked. I might have to rewatch it again with that in mind.
I never want to watch it again.
Okay, well.
But anyway, yeah. So let's talk Ant-Man real quick. I agree. I'd give the villains like a 3. I didn't think they were believable at all, and they all turned in the end, or died.
I read that a lot of people really liked the villains, and I was
A
like,
lot
no,
of
we weren't
people
watching
like
the same
Ghost.
movie.
I don't get it.
Ghost's character was poorly acted, poorly written,
Poorly utilized. Like,
It's because she's
Poorly
from
got
utilized.
Game of
redemption she
Thrones.
didn't deserve.
It's because she's from Game of Thrones. Like, that's it.
I mean-
Like, they recognize a character they are an actress or an actor that they've seen in Game of Thrones, and they really love Game of Thrones. And so, like, oh man, that's what makes this person great, because they're in something else that I really enjoy. Like,
I didn't even realize that was her until after I saw the movie and looked it up.
I didn't know she was in Game of
I
Thrones.
didn't know she was in
I don't
Game
know
of
who
Because
she
I
is in
don't
Game of
watch
Thrones.
Game of
I
Thrones.
recognized her from Ready Player One.
Oh,
Thrones. She's also in The
She
Force
was
Awakens.
Finale Xandor.
I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I can't.
I watched Game of
can't
Thrones.
answer any
She
of
was
the
in
Game
like
of
2
Thrones.
episodes.
I got no
I
idea.
had no
Are we
idea.
doing
I don't know.
rankings?
Yeah, we are.
Are we ranking these things? I have my MCU Films result from the quiz that we did, which that is what I'm sticking with for standard for me.
I love our graphics. Just shout out Vaishon Brandon for doing
Shout
such
out
good graphic
to
work.
@WowNow on Twitter.
Shout out Red MC on Twitter.
Shout out to @James Swindell on Twitter.
Oh, JR.
I mean, this is
Swindell.
at least-
Be sure to follow him on Instagram
Yeah.
and demand Captain
is at
Crunch.
least
I
accurate.
hate you so much. I hate you so much. And also, the Twitter handle is different than the Instagram handle, so just get it right.
Yeah. They'll be in the doobly-doo.
I don't think this is
Get a
entirely
doobly-doo.
updated, but it at least has all the Marvel movies.
Okay, so for me, when we visit this on the Marvel spectrum, it comes in below Ant-Man, obviously, but very close to it, because Iron Man 3 is the next Marvel movie option, and it's better than Iron Man 3.
It's not better than Iron Man 3. This is not, and I'll tell you why. Because Iron Man 3 is above Thor, and this is not as good as Thor.
Ooh, see, for me, this is where it gets tricky. So my Ant-Man is 12 with Thor and Doctor Strange under it. I would put it under Doctor Strange because it's above Thor Dark World, Guardians 2, Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, and Iron Man 3.
Doctor Strange is way above all of the things you just said.
I know. So I would put Ant-Man 2 at the top of the sequels, which would be Guardians, Ant-Man, Thor, Doctor Strange, and Ant-Man 2. Ant-Man 2 to me would be number 15 out of
This is not better than Iron Man 3.
Here's what I'll allow.
Iron Man 3 is on the bottom for me for a very good reason.
What is that reason?
They ruined Extremis. It was
Oh yeah, I
Extremis
remember
was
you.
bad.
I remember you
The
being butthurt
Mandarin
about
was
this
bad.
from like freshman year.
The Extremis was bad. The Mandarin was bad. The story sucked. Nope. And then Iron Patriot, what was that? Like, no, I just didn't like anything I wasn't picking up what they were putting down. I really wasn't. I didn't like any of it.
Iron Man 3 had the great PTSD story and the good kid. and it's got redeeming qualities.
It's got some redeeming qualities.
I'm with you, James. I would put this above Iron Man 3, but I am willing to concede and put it right below Thor. Above
because it's just not. It's not as good as Thor. Like, I don't care about Iron Man 3. I'm unconcerned about that right now. Like, this is not as good as Thor. It's right there on par, but like I think Thor did a better job at achieving the aim of introducing this character, and this did not do the aim of continuing the series.
Emily just won 89 cents on
Nice.
HQ.
Oh, nice. I need to start playing that.
Same. I'm
Tell
also
her I said-
You
I'm
give it
also
89
afraid to
cents.
play it. It feels like one of those things that's like way too prolific in people's lives that is just going to be the thing to eat America. Like, I'm a little scared of it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely like run by a supervillain.
Yeah, like
There's
it,
no
it
President
feels
business.
it feels very dystopian. But I just don't think it's as good as Thor. I really don't. And
Listen, I just told you
Okay.
that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not fighting.
Yeah,
you.
I was expecting much more of a fight here.
No, I put Ant-Man 2 better than Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, it's definitely better than
Yeah,
Thor: The Dark
obviously.
World. It's definitely better than Iron Man 2. It is definitely better than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It's
Guardians
definitely
Volume
better
2.
than Deadpool 2. It's definitely better than
Deadpool
Incredible
2.
Hulk. It's 100% better than
definitely better
Attack
than-
of the Clones. So, like,
Oh, so you guys have all of your movies
all of them,
ranked
yeah.
there. Okay, yeah, I only have the MCU one. So
Which I need-
you guys
yeah.
have basically put Ant-Man 2 where I would put it with the other ones.
right,
you know?
yeah. It's because it's like, it's not, it's better than Rogue One. It's better than Attack of the Clones. I don't think it's as good as Thor. And we might have Thor a little low, but, like,
We might have Rogue One a little low because Attack of the Clones. I don't know if that's better than Rogue One.
oh, it's putting Rogue One below Attack of the Clones was definitely just a power move.
Yeah, but I hated Rogue One.
I hated Rogue One,
I hate it so much. The only redeeming quality about it is Darth Vader. That's it. Don't at me.
But, like, it's,
Don't choke
but, like,
on
regardless
your
of whether or
ambitions.
not it's better than Attack of the Clones, it's not better than Thor. So, like, it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, so we're cool. It goes in the
no,
new
I was
27.
saying Rogue One is not better than Thor.
Oh,
No.
okay.
We can move Rogue One up above Attack of the Clones if you really want to, but like it's
No,
not
no,
as
I
good
don't.
as Thor. Okay, cool. That's where Ant-Man goes. It's either 27 or 28. I don't know. I need to update this list, but I will do that probably this weekend.
Breakfast food?
Breakfast food. James, do you have a breakfast food picked out, ready to go?
Yeah,
Bing, bang,
I
boom?
got one. This is great. I think that Ant-Man and the Wasp is adult smiley pancakes from IHOP.
Why is that?
Because
because that doesn't sound bite-sized.
There it
Well,
is.
you can
there
make
it is. There it is. 2 hours and 1 minute.
I've been holding off saying it.
had a timer set, waiting for you to say bite-sized. I prepared this 5 days ago. I was like, as soon as I saw the movie, I was just like, I'm gonna call Ty out as soon as he said bite-sized. I was expecting 4 minutes. Like, I was expecting you to
I
not
held
even
back
get through the
knowing
statistics.
you were going to do this. I knew you were going to do this, and I held back. I also...
it was adult smiley pancakes from IHOP.
That is not
because-
bite-sized.
I'm pretty sure this is like silver dollars.
I mean,
man.
Yeah, I
if
was
you
gonna
want to
say
make
this
them
is
out of
silver
silver
dollar
dollars, they've got
pancakes.
the kids version. You can do that too if you want.
No, I really
those are small.
I really honest to God thought this was silver dollar pancakes because like you think it's gonna be this like nostalgic kind of satisfying event, and then really you just ate small pancakes.
That's funny. That's really funny. I was going for something more sentimental, man. I was going while Tyler dies over there.
really, it's just a red fox,
Yeah.
right? Like it's not a
Right,
panda
like this
at
is
all.
this is the
It's
red
just a
panda
fox.
of movies. Because I really
was
did.
going for
I
something-
wanted to love this movie. I went in looking to love this movie and to be like, even if it was as good as the first one, I would have been like, yeah, Ant-Man. But it just wasn't as good as the first one. So I'm sitting here like, no, Ant-Man.
No, I was going
I
for
went into this movie.
No, I was gonna say I was going for something a little bit more sentimental too. Like, oh man, it's like nice and fun. Like adults can get it, and like reminds you of your childhood. It's like nice and happy. Like, but it's like a legit breakfast food because you're getting pancakes. I was going for something nice, and you know what? I just got smeared all over. Like, ambition.
That's
No,
a
I mean,
good
I'm
breakfast
with
reference.
you though.
I'm really
I
proud
get
of you
what
for
I
that.
completely get what you're saying, but like, it's got to be bite-sized. Is the thing.
Fine. You
No,
know what?
I mean, I love
Just
your-
make
I
them-
love your
Make
pancakes.
them,
I do.
Make them kitty sized pancakes, or I go home.
That's
I'll
fine.
quit.
Okay, we make them kitty-sized pancakes. You uncomfortable, gross. Making me say kitty-sized.
Awesome. What else do we rank?
That's
here's
it.
Here's my thing about Ant-Man. I was so ready to love this movie that like I was sitting with Derek of the Super Carlin Brothers. He's their editor. You guys all know Derek. Whatever.
I've never
I'm
met
not gonna
Derek.
He was
pretend y'all
on the
don't.
show.
I've never met him.
he talked Rogue One.
Oh yeah, that's why I didn't know him, because I wasn't gonna be triggered for an hour.
We didn't like it, so you're fine. But Derek, I was talking to Derek before the movie. I was so ready to like it that I was like, Derek, I've given a lot of thought to it. I collect Spider-Man comics. I love Spider-Man. But I think if I collect a second character, I will collect Ant-Man. And he was like, okay, cool, whatever. And this is like a huge thing for me because now I'm committing to a second character. And he was like, yeah, that's whatever. I mean, collect whatever you want, because Derek's been collecting comics forever. So anyway, I was really prepared to love it, and I loved the first one, and I was really prepared to be like, all right, I like Spider-Man, and then Ant-Man is like my guy, my sort of hipster favorite hero. And my Ant-Man stock did fall with this film, but I do still like him. So that's
Paul Rudd as Ant-Man is still the best part of this movie.
Right.
It was just kind of him acting in a movie.
Paul Rudd, man, he's just so handsome, charming.
He is not aged. It's terrifying.
No, he hasn't, and he plays the drums really good and sings really good and can do magic really good. I just love Paul Rudd.
I loved the ant playing the drums.
Oh, but it was sad because everyone was gone.
The ant doesn't give a crap.
No, he was happy. Well, he was programmed. He was programmed to continue to be
Scott, yeah.
So somewhere in the world, this ant is just being Scott while Scott's floating in the quantum realm.
Well, it's being Scott's daily schedule while he's on house arrest. It's not like doing Scott things that Scott would do off of house arrest.
But we don't know what those are because we can't make assumptions about what they do off screen because someone told me that I can't be imaginative.
No, I didn't tell you that. I told you that you're forcing redemption on the character based on and I get that it's I like what you're imagining out of it, but it isn't explicitly written there.
Okay.
So you're fine, dude. I mean, do whatever you want. Live your life, man. I'm not here to you
be you
do
and
you.
I'll be me. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of Bacon and Eggs. We talked about Ant-Man and the Wasp and a bunch of other things. As always, I'm Tyler Carlin. That's Ethan Edgehill. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at AmeriCarlin. That's America, RLIN. And Ethan's at Wow Now. The O's are zeros. There's no underscore. It's just Wow Now. The O's are zeros. Jim is at Jim Swindell on Twitter. Tweet at him saying, please give me Captain Crunch. And he's at JR Swindell on Instagram. Follow him and direct message him or comment on all his pictures and say, please give me Captain Crunch. It's very important that you do that, and very important that you don't ask me questions about that.
No,
just do it. Just do
at
the thing.
Jim Swindell
just do
and
the
demand
thing.
Captain Crunch. That is all the instruction you're getting.
Bacon and Eggs is supported by its patrons. That's our only revenue stream. If you love our podcast and you want us to continue to be able to do this, well, it's mostly only our revenue stream. We also sell merch. If you love this podcast and you want to see us continue to do it, please either buy like a hat from our merch store, which they are currently available, link in the doobly-doo. They're really cool hats. Or consider joining us over on patreon.com/baconandeggs. For just $5 a month, you get to join our Discord server where you can talk to Ethan and I literally all the time. My wife gets so mad because I'm always talking to everybody. But, like, whatever. Well, it's fine. We worked it out. It's all good. Don't you worry about my marriage. We're great. We are great. Everything's great. What else are we talking about?
Tell them who does our graphics.
Ethan's just... Our graphics are done by Vaishon Brandon at graphite.vmb, I think, on Instagram. His graphics are amazing, and he doesn't just do graphics for us. He also just does freelance graphic work all the time, and he's always posting cool things. So be sure to follow him. His link also in the doobly-doo. I'm pointing down, but you can't see that. But I am... Ethan can see it.
I can see it, yes. Tyler is indeed pointing down. I can confirm.
Voraciously. Thank you, James. Thank you so much for joining us this week and talking all things Ant-Man and the Wasp. Next week, we are talking Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. It's going to be one big, probably the same length episode. We're talking about the films with Jordan Balke, who's the new Jane of all trades for Super Carlin Brothers. The following week, we're talking Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire with Watso Videos. The week after that, there's an unconfirmed guest that I'm not going to say because there's a couple people we've reached out to, but we're going to be talking Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And then the following week, we're going to be talking Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Parts 1 and 2 with Brizzy Voices, Anna Brisbane of Brizzy Voices, and Fantastic Geeks and Where to Find Them, and a variety of other things. She's super fun, and we're really excited to talk to her. That's all I've got. That's some announcements. That's some who we are, what we do. That's some... please support the podcast. That's a little bit of everything.
James, say goodbye to the people.
Bye, people. Nice to see you.
Any last words?
Register to vote.
Oh,
Hey,
God,
that's a
James.
good advice. Good advice.
Yeah.
That's a
That
good
is
advice.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good device. If you're American, if you're from somewhere else, I really don't care what you do.
Register to vote there.
All right.
Register to vote
Right.
before. Yeah.
All that being
Yeah.
said, I've been Ethan Edgehill, he's been Tyler Carlin, and him over there has been James Swindell. Until next week, arrivederci.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. See, that was an easy one. The movie started with an A.